Hi, everybody. Good morning and welcome to our live session today, or life audit and strategy session for 2023. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for being here and for being on time. I am so ready to get started. Um, is the new no Deandra, it is now 30 seconds, not 30 minutes, 30 seconds. So just giving a few more persons a minute to join us. I like to give a 5 to 10 minute grace period, but because of the kind of work we have to do today, the only grace period I can give is 5 minutes, because I really want us to get the work done. So we had about 500 persons registered for the session. Let's see how many of you followed the instruction around setting your reminder so you would not forget that you had this session this morning, and then carving out the time in a very deliberate way so that you are undisturbed, uninterrupted, and able to focus throughout. I'm seeing one person indicate that they can't hear me. Is there anybody else who is not able to hear me? Tell me if you can or if you can't. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Okay, so Candice is hearing. Khadija is hearing. Get Out Alive World is hearing. Kasharna, Shanto, Danishka, Joelle, Rich Ignition, Gritty. Okay, all right, good. So if there's anybody who is not hearing me, I'm asking you to check your laptop settings to make sure that you don't have your speaker on mute. That happens to me from time to time. I mute it and I forget that I've muted it, and so I can't hear people. All right, so I'm seeing other persons saying that now they can hear me. So that's excellent. It means that we're cooking with some gas. So at 6 minutes past, I want to invite you all to lock the door. If you have children that you can afford to lock out for 2 hours, like somebody else is there to watch them, now is the time to turn the key on that door or turn the little lock so that they can't come in. If there's anybody else that you're sharing space with, now is the time to say to them, I need you to be quiet because I'm trying to focus. And now is not the time for conversation. Plug out. If you need to close off, for example, the WhatsApp chat on your desktop, now is the time to do it. In fact, as I go to close mine out, I'm seeing a message from one of the persons who has registered, and she's indicating that she didn't get the link. So I'm just going to copy and share it with her and then close my WhatsApp for desktop. So anybody who have any plans to WhatsApp me during this session, it flop, right? So putting my phone on silent as well. In fact, I'm going to put it on airplane mode. I know everybody cannot do that because you may have some pending emergencies or people and things that might turn into emergencies and they're likely to contact you now. If that's the case, put it on silent. That will do for now. Put it on silent if you can't put it fully on airplane mode. And then let us get ourselves in the mindset to focus on our lives for 2023. So just to give you a little bit of context, where I'm coming from with this masterclass, it's something that I've been doing since 2017 to begin the year with a life audit and a strategy session. Why do I do it at this point? Well, the start of the year is the best time to come up with a strategy, full stop. You ride on the momentum of every other thing that's happening in the space to set plans, set goals, set up your vision board, have a strategy, fresh start, brand new page, turning the leaf, turning the chapter, brand new book. So you have the benefit of cultural impetus to drive you to do this and to be committed to doing it in this season. So everybody around is doing it. It doesn't feel like strangeness. It doesn't feel odd. It doesn't feel weird. It don't feel like you're the only person who's trying to take this up right now. So you have cultural and community support to do this. Now, one of the things I usually do, and I've made a concession this year, I usually wait until the end of January so that all of the busyness and the rush and the haste and the communications around it, you don't get dragged into it and start setting goals that don't align because everybody else is setting goals and you're mimicking and modeling what they are doing. So usually I wait until the new year haste and rush is off, and we do it at the end of January or the first week in February. But I've decided to do it a little differently this year for 2 reasons. One main reason is that I now have my own planner, which is the Success Farmers Guide. Everybody should be aware of that. And everybody on the live, at least, should be aware of that by now. And what has happened is once persons buy the planner, they're ready to get started, want to jump in, and they need a little bit of coaching at the top to be able to use this planner in the smartest way. So one, my customers and my planner community needed an earlier coaching session. So here I am earlier than usual. And two, I want to make sure that you start well. And if you start well in January, when we're thinking about February and March, it's about building momentum. And when we get to April, May, June, it's about sustaining momentum, responding to any challenges. And so by the half mark of the year, you'd have had actually 6 full months to work on your goals, to build a rhythm, to learn how you work and how you can work better, make certain changes. So at midpoint in the year, you have the full benefit of 6 months worth of concerted and focused effort. And the sooner we can build the momentum, the better, because it's the sooner we can figure out what needs to be changed and shifted so we can improve how we are working. So we start earlier so that we can get out the gate sooner and figure things out, because it's not going to be a perfect start. And where I made the concession is instead of starting the first week of January, I said, all right, let me do the second week. So after January 1 to 7, when everybody's kind of settling down, settling in, you'll have a clearer mind to get things done. Now, my Success Farmers Guide is what I call the rebuilding tool for people whose lives are not where they want it to be. In fact, you may be at what we call ground zero, where things mash up, drop down, fall apart, and you're really trying to get things back together for 2023 and beyond. So I'm inviting you to share with me now. Is there anybody inside our session this morning who is at ground zero? When you look at the fullness of your life, it feels like everything has fallen apart, or most things, the most important things, the things that matter the most to you, you feel like it's shell down and shell away. It is just not together. The pieces of the puzzle have fallen apart. And you're looking at your life and you're wondering, why can't I feel proud of where I am? Why can't I talk about my life and the things that I have achieved with a sense of confidence? You're feeling as though you have fully failed and flunked out this test called life. Everything that you would have learned before, everything that you know, everything where your mother and your father tried to teach you, everything where you learned at the Lifetime movie them, everything where you're reading at the book, it's like you haven't been able to put it into practice. So raise your hand, and I'm seeing those hands going up. Petrina, don't cry, because we're here to rebuild. And if you look in the chat, you'll see just how many persons have raised their hands. So you're not alone. And that's the first thing I want, as persons are raising their hands and saying, you know, I feel like I'm at ground zero. I feel like the thing popped down. I feel like the thing mash up. As most persons are raising their hands, you can see that you're not alone. And one of the worst things is to be at ground zero and feel like it's the universe, it's God, it's the devil. Just I run you down and I beat you with a piece of stick, and you alone I get the beating, because everybody around seems to have figured it out. At some point in all of our lives, the pieces fall apart. And I want to share with you very honestly and openly what that was like for me in fairly recent times, 2020 specifically. Now in 2020, I lost everything. And most people will say, but it never show me, never see it. That's okay. I don't wear my struggles. Mine think me go take up the rubble and show it for myself and look like on construction site. But I look so, right? I got dust off my little self, put on my lip gloss, fill up my brows, right? Blend in my foundation, spray up my nice perfume, lotion down myself, and come outside, right? I'm not going to wear my struggle. And Pampute, if you're in Jamaica, you know she's a dancehall artist. There's a clip of her going around saying, she not look like our problem then. Not gonna look like my problem. So absolutely, if you've been following me for a while, you may be saying to yourself, but I never look popped out. See, they look like it's still turned up. That's okay. I'm gonna wear my problem then. I wear my blessings. I wear my opportunity. I wear my abundance. I wear my purpose. I'm gonna take off that true problem I look for me. But in 2020, I lost everything. What was everything? The first major loss in 2020 was in September, the general elections. I would have run in the parliamentary elections in Jamaica, and I lost that election. Now, it's not that I 100% expected to win, but the way the loss came in a very public fashion, because of course it's general election, And then the party that I am a part of, the People's National Party, lost significantly more seats in the general election for 2020 than we had lost in 2016. And it's almost as if the movement just shelled down in a 1 month. It just like popped down, like seats that were safe for 20, 30 years, never been lost by the PNP. We lost them. Some seats that we did not even think twice about losing, we ended up in court, magisterial recounts, trying to make sure that we actually won it. And it just felt heart-wrenching. And I know for a lot of people who are a part of the process, and we're part of the building up and the nourishing and the campaigning and just trying to get things going, a lot of our time and our money was invested in that. So it wasn't just losing an election, but losing out on quality time and energy and losing money. Big loss. Not just for ourselves, but for the movement. And that was hard, right? And it was hard for me for that reason, but an additional reason is that my income was also linked to the political infrastructure around the elections. I was leading communications for the PNP at that time. And so my job, my main earner, was also lost because that particular function is funded based on the amount of MPs that you have in Parliament, and you have a significantly lower amount, so the contributions to the party will be less. And then the donations that would come in, you just tap out every donor to run the election. So there's actually nothing left, right? So I lost the election, I lost my job, I lost my income. All of that happened in 1 month, in 2020, September. And then after that, I went through a major breakup. So a 5-year relationship with my child's father came to an end in 2020 as well. I count up the losings, right? And all of those things are not things that happened in private. When these things happen, people know. And people want to know more than them know. And so they're going to ask questions, they're going to come up with conversations, they're going to come up with articles and stories about it. And so even as you're processing loss, people want to dig up in it to see exactly how much you lose and why you lose and how you lose. Like people that you don't even know, right? So you're dealing with the stress of a loss, but also trying to keep it private because these are personal issues. It's not something that belongs in anybody's WhatsApp group or on their list of things to discover for today, right? And then as I'm closing out the year now, I lose my car. I had a major car crash right off the vehicle. So I'm a nana car. No job, no income, no relationship, no home because I had moved out, and no car. I need to put into context the fact that when I lost all of this, I also was already at ground zero financially because the election would have pulled a lot out of my personal coffers. So I'm not an emergency fund, I'm have an emergency. Right? Laugh at myself every time I think about 2020. Big emergency and no emergency fund. But we were at ground zero. We now have nothing, and life is looking at us and asking, you ready? I was like, I'm ready. None of the tools. What you mean? We need a little more time. But life don't work that way. I was at ground zero. And there are a few things that I decided to do when I was at ground zero. One was to take personal accountability for what I had done to get myself there. I'm asking you if you feel like you're at ground zero and you don't have things worked out and you don't have a plan and things are not working how you planned for them to work out. Stop blaming other people and situations. Stop blaming circumstances. You are fully responsible for the life that you have right now. And if you're not ready to take responsibility for your life, this session will not be helpful for you. This is not a session for us to point out all the people who failed us, all the ways that other people should have showed up differently, all the things that people owe us in life to make us comfortable, and all the ways that everybody is making us uncomfortable and causing us to stall and delay. It's not this kind of session. You have to be willing to take personal responsibility for where you are right now. Nobody never push you down the road of these decisions that you made. You sit down and you make them. You sit down and you WhatsApp and you make them. You sit down and you put on your clothes and you go to the road and you make them. You sit down and you email and you make them. You sit down and you swipe the card and you make them. You sit down and you sign the contract them for the loan and you make them. You sat down or stood up and made the decisions that brought you here. So it's nobody's fault. And when things don't work out the way we plan for them to, sometimes the instinct is to look around and see who put us in danger. instead of looking at ourselves and saying, well, how did I put myself at risk? How did I make myself vulnerable when I did not need to? How did I allow the liberty to come through carelessness? And the minute we start looking at ourselves and seeing the role that we have played in bringing ourselves to certain points, we can ease up a little bit on the judgment and the feel away with other people and find a moment to become passionate with us and then take up the life and start putting the pieces back together. If you don't know by now, nobody now come help and rescue you. Nobody now come help you. Whoever help you, them can help you to a point. But it's the big rebuilding that needs to happen in your life. People busy at build for them life. There's nobody who's sitting down and thinking how them can help Krystal to build our life. Them have them life to build. If them see an opportunity, them will put it my way, you know. But me, I have to dip on my construction site at work, so them can pass and say, oh, something I build over here, so I have 2 blocks for putting it. Oh, yeah, build something, let me give some cement. Oh, let me come help you mix pan a Saturday. Let me come help you pour pan a Wednesday. But if you are not doing the work, and people realize that you're not doing the work, you sit down by your hand and wait for somebody to come move the block to buy the steel, you can't get the help that you need to rebuild. Because people don't have the resources to waste like that. People don't have the time to donate sometimes. And in other moments, people just not care that much. So if you touch their mind for help you, then we help you. But them now sit down and daydream about your life and what you need. You need to be working on that construction site to rebuild. So nothing wrong with ground zero, you know. But what is wrong is looking for people to blame. What is wrong is waiting and expecting other people to come and work on the life for you. And for 2023, we're not do that. We're not do that. So the first thing I'm going to invite you to do, those of us who are at ground zero or simply working to rebuild something in our lives, I want you to give yourself a moment of compassion. And we're gonna start with that first. So remember, I asked you to make sure the people who might disturb you don't disturb you, because we're going into a little bit of spiritual session right now, and we don't really want a body in the business more than all them have in the business. If you have your planner beside you, make sure you have it close by. If you don't have the planner and you got our life audit and habit design guide, hopefully you printed it out, you have it here. If you have a piece of paper, if you have the journal or the book, keep it close. I'll repeat this slowly, so if you want to write it down, you can write it down. And I'm also giving you permission, if there's anything that we share or say in this session that jumps out and feels like a nugget or a bit of wisdom, a shareable, tweetable moment, you can write it down. You can share it if you want to with other family members. You can make it part of your mantra. You can tweet it. You can post it on your wall. This is open for the world to benefit from. But of course, I only share the link with people who registered. Because if you not take first step, you can't get all of the good things there, right? So for this moment of self-compassion, I'm asking you to take your hand, can be your right hand, put it on your heart, close your eyes, and say this to yourself. Speak to yourself in third person. Use your name. So in my instance now, I'm going to say, Krystal, I am not judging you for the mistakes and the failures. Just repeat that, but put your name in there. Krystal, I'm not judging you for the mistakes and the failures. And close your eyes as you're saying it. Listen to my voice and just repeat what I say. I'll speak slowly and I'll pause and give you a chance to repeat it. Krystal, I am not judging you for the mistakes and the failures. Say that 3 times. I love you and I forgive you for all the things that you feel shame and disappointment about in your life. I love you and I forgive you for all the things that you feel shame and disappointment about in your life. Krystal, you are still good. Krystal, you are still worthy. Krystal, you are still worth it. And today I'm taking the time to reflect on how you showed up for yourself last year and to bravely decide how we are going to do better this year. I love you. Let me pause because that was a long one. Let me go again. Today I'm taking the time to reflect on how you showed up for yourself last year. and bravely decide how we will do better this year. I love you too much to give up on you. And if no one else is on your side this year, always know that I have your back. If no one else is on your side this year, always know that I have your back. All right. That is the moment of compassion. I'm going to share that in a graphic for you. So if you feel like you need some more moments of compassion going through the year, you can always read it, but we'll share that in the wrap-up email after our session. How did that make you feel? That forgiveness, releasing yourself of the shame and the judgment, and just believing in yourself to do a little better this year. Don't give up on yourself here. No matter what you never got right, no matter what is in your life right now and still not right, don't you ever give up on yourself, and make sure that you always have your back. No matter who abandons you, you don't abandon yourself. Donna says the I love you brought her to tears. Because maybe nobody's saying that to you right now. You have to always remember you can say it to yourself. I love you too much to give up on you. Just remember that. So the first thing we're going to do after that moment of compassion, we're going to move into our Thrive check, assessing what we did last year. However, look back and speak honestly about what we have done or failed to do. Now, before we get into it, I want you to tell me before going through it, and I still see the comments, very emotional comments coming out. Grateful for that vulnerability and for that sharing. And we're as I said, I'm going to share this with you so you always have this, and you can say it to yourself if nobody else ever says it to you. Now, I want you to think of a number between 1 and 10 and answer the question, how would you rate your performance, like how you showed up for yourself and worked in 2022? A number between 1 and 10, just drop that in the chat. And before we get in, I want to see the sense of what you come up with before we've actually done the audit. Now, there may be some persons, because they have the plan already, because they have the live audit guide, they would have completed the session, so they know them number, I know. But if you haven't done it as yet, drop the number. Based on how you feel, what's that number? So we're going to get into it, beginning with our Thrive checklist. Now, time to draw for the journal, time to draw for the planner, time to draw for your life audit and habit design guide, and let's get going. So the first thing we want to assess is how well you did the things that were habitually important, right? Over time, over the last 12 months, consistently, how many of these things did you actually get done in 2022? So we're looking at last year. Now I'm going to read from a list. If you have the list already, then you can go through and tick. But for the benefit of those who don't have it in front of them and they're working with a journal or a sheet of paper, I'm going to read through. And for everyone that you actually do, you just give yourself a stroke, when you're tallying. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you cross it for 5. And as I go through everything that you've done, you just write a stroke for each one. And when you get to 5, you cross it, right? So let's go. In the last year, or for 2022, did you give yourself a personal mission statement? When you entered the year, did you know what the mission and the vision was for your life? If you did know, give yourself a stroke. Did you exercise? We're moving first into the physical activities for the year. Did you exercise 3 or more times for the week? Did you eat mindfully and healthily more often than not in the last year? Did you get 6 to 8 hours sleep? Did you indulge in self-care activities at least one time each month? And did you drink at least 1 to 3 liters of water each day, more often than not, for 2022? Now I'm going to pause there and explain to you why these things are so important. I see the comments in the chat, but remember to make a note. If you did it, make sure to give yourself that stroke. It's when we think about what we want out of life, it's very easy to shift first to what the world needs to give us. The raise that the boss must give us. The job that company must give us. The car that bank must approve the loan for. The purchase that the customer must make. When we think about the things we want and we need in life, it's easy to automatically go to the things that are out there that they need to release it so we can have it. But I want you to remember that all good things start from the inside. How you treat yourself sets up the example for how the world is going to treat you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about self-love here. If you don't love yourself and do loving things towards yourself, the world has no example to pattern. So your spouse don't know how to pattern taking care of you because you not take care of you. And while sometimes they will do good things, they can't be consistent with it. Right? It might happen at a special occasion. It might happen for your birthday. It might happen when them say you go through a really hard time. But it's not a consistent, habitual way of showing up for you because they're watching how you are not consistent and habitual showing up for yourself. There are some key ingredients that are involved in love making. And we talk about love making in the context of sex. But love making is something far more complicated than that. You might think you've been making love all your life, but you're actually not making love. If you're going to the kitchen and you say, let me make some love, sex not in it. Let me make some love, that's not in there. So what are the ingredients? There's a powerful book that I read this year that helped me to break down the ingredients and look differently at even those habits of wellness that are part of the Thrive checklist. Care, affection, respect, responsibility, and trust. Care, affection, respect, responsibility, and trust. Now, when I read the book, the first thing we were thinking about and discussing was how the people who say they love us have to demonstrate care, right? They have to help to take care of us. So you can think about your parents. A part of them demonstrating love was taking care of you, making sure that as a baby you were in safe environments, you had food on the table, you had water, you had milk, you had whatever you needed to develop healthily as a toddler. You were registered and enrolled into a school. You went to school and you got your education. They kept you out of danger, taught you how to protect and defend against danger, how to speak up. They took care of you, changed your diaper, give you a shower. They took care of you. But for some of us, that's actually where it stopped. With the parents. Food was always on the table, but there was no affection. You never heard an I love you. You never heard a good job. You never heard a you are so beautiful. You never hear a you are worthy. And you never felt it. Even if they didn't use the words, you certainly didn't feel the love. There was no affectionate contact. There was no hug. There was no kiss. There was no holding of your hand. There was no putting you gently to bed. There was no soothing you when you were feeling overwhelmed and your emotions are getting the better of you as a 6 or 16-year-old. There was no affection. So the parents provided care, but they didn't provide affection. And so you grow up thinking that because it's my parent and them say them love me and everybody else has said parents love you if them take care of you and feed you. You begin to think that love is care. So whether or not you get the affection from the person that you're in a relationship with, whether or not you get the respect from the person you're in a relationship, whether or not that person whether or not that person takes responsibility for their behavior and accountability for themselves and take responsibility for doing certain things to make the relationship rich, whether or not that person honors your trust, as long as them are mind you, it name love. As long as the money come in, as long as the food come in, as long as them take care of you, it name love. And so you accept everything else being missing, no affection, no respect, no responsibility, and no trust, because they continue to betray your trust, tell you lie, cheat on you. That's okay. As long as them take care of me, it is love. Conversely, you can have affection in the relationship. Lot of hug up, lot of kiss up, but there is no care. They're not part of taking care of you. They really don't care if you take care of yourself. Them not care the road where you go down on. As long as when they call, you will say, come over. As long as when they get in bed and they touch you, you will allow for that sexual and intimate contact. But the care part, the respect and the responsibility, that not there. The trust, that not there. But the affection is there. And I've heard men and women say, boy, he comes home every night or she comes home every night. So that must mean that they love me. Not a must. It just means that affection is still there. But in the absence of all the other ingredients, if we are bake a cake and you throw only flour in the bowl, you can't call that cake. You understand what I say? It's not an egg whites, it's not a brownie, it's not a vanilla, it not have no, depending on the cake that you're making, it now have certain seasoning in it, it now have the rest of the ingredients them where you need. A little toops of salt, nothing in there. But the flour in the bowl. Flour in the bowl and you tell yourself, say, you have a cake, you don't have it. So when I read that book, and the name of the book is All About Love by Bell Hooks, I'm going to share a link here for you so that you can grab it. If this sounds like a conversation that you want to explore a little bit more, you can order the book. It's available on Amazon. And I've been recommending this book all year. I mean, from I read it midpoint last year, I've just been recommending it to people like, hey, have you read it? Because it opened my eyes about what we are defining as love, one, but also what we are accepting from others and from ourselves, because we're going to get there, as love. So if you look inside the chat, I just drop the link so you can check out that book and purchase it. All right. Now, why did I go there after doing that Path of the Thrive checklist? You see, the care that you want a partner to provide for you, you have to give it to yourself first. You see, the affection, the respect, the responsibility that needs to be taken, and the trust, you have to give it to yourself first. It is a little insane for us to say to the world, we want love. We want love. And you're going out there, going on dates. You're looking at your partner and asking them why they're not, showing you love better. And you haven't first looked inside yourself to see, how am I taking care of myself? Like, may I wonder how Valentine's Day come, I'm not getting a present. May I wonder how I can't just get some random roses. I can't just get a packet bags. We're going on a vacation. I can't get a surprise trip. I can't get a nice new shoes. No like a Chanel bag. No like a Tourbird slippers. No like a Bridget. I can't get nothing like, you don't want help me look good and stay, but I can't have like a new dress. You can't say, ain't take the money, go do your nails, go do your hair. The care that you want somebody to take care of you with, you have to give that to yourself first. You can't be asking people to love you when you are not loving yourself. And I'll tell you why. Candy said, Krystal, stop reading up my tweets. I'll tell you why, right? Nobody is an idiot. And nobody is trying to overlove you when you are okay with the bare minimum. What I said, nobody is interested in overloving you when you are okay with the bare minimum. Jesus and God alone make that promise that to you. Nobody else don't make that promise. So you want a compliment from your partner that you look sexy. And even though you're not at the weight that you have, you're still the most attractive person they've ever seen. But you can never pass a mirror and say that to yourself. Or you expect the man or the woman to say that to you when you can't even find it in yourself to say it to yourself. What do you think they are? Jesus? So even though they know you want them to say it, and they might say it, deep down they're saying to themselves, every time I give her a compliment, she respond and say, you're too light, I said that because you want to make me feel good. Because you know some of the shape good in a little dress already. Okay. I'm not going to say it no more then. Because you don't believe it. You don't believe it. When the person give you a compliment, they mustn't feel like they might do you a favor. They mustn't feel like they might play with your emotions. They mustn't feel like they must say something so that they can feel good, so they can get what they want. When they give you a compliment, especially your intimate partner, they must believe that you already know that and that they are affirming it. You put on the clothes and you probably in the mirror, you wake up in the morning and look at yourself, Lord, I'm not stay good enough. I don't know how you're there with me. I'm most sorry for me make it there because look at me. I'm not stay good, my face one, my ear one. They're hearing that. But you also expect them to tell you that you're the most beautiful person they've ever set eyes on. How them to talk about you better than how you talk about yourself. So even when they get a compliment, they may be sure if them believe it because I saw them get a compliment, I say you brush it off because you actually don't want it. And even if you don't brush it off in their presence, when they watch how you carry yourself, then realize that's not really something you believe. You have to take care of yourself. So when you're not sleeping and you expect somebody to take care of you, you're not eating well, but you want somebody to take care of you. You're not exercising, but you want somebody to take care of you. You're not drinking water, beer, juice, and soda, but you want somebody to take care of you. And you don't know how to take care of yourself? Whose duty and responsibility is it first to take care of you? So as you're setting the goals this year around your physical wellness, the health that you want to feel in your body, don't set it with some kind of frivolous intention to do it. See it as an expression of care and love for yourself. Because anybody who you want to take care of you, to see you as lovable and to love you, they're also looking to see how you're loving yourself. And even if they come in with the niceness today, if after being in a relationship with you for months, them realize that you're not really serious about it, you know what I'm going to do? Match your energy. Because nobody has time to fight with you to take care of yourself. So if you don't want to take care of yourself, then yeah, we're going to eat fried chicken every day. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. Because I can't bother. If you don't want to work out, I'm going to stop telling about gym. I'm going to just go gym with myself. If I find another gym partner, I can't be in the stress and the fighting with you. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you don't want to drink water, I'm going to stop that with the juice. So go to a road, go drink the soda if you want, and drink the alcohol and buy the juice and put it in the fridge. I'm not going to fight with you. After a while, they'll realize that you don't want to take care of yourself, and they're not going to fight you anymore into doing that. So those questions were questions around self-care and essentially self-love. Do you love yourself enough to take care of you? So the other set of questions now are around not emotional, but more spiritual habits. One, let's go back to our list now to track what we've done. Did you keep a gratitude journal this year? Did you pray and meditate regularly this year? Did you practice decluttering on a regular basis, which can be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, each year? And that means going through your purse, for instance, and taking out all those receipts that are still in there, that you did plan to log and track. So for you plan to return, but the 30-day pass already, so you can't really return it, but the receipts are still there. Or handbags as women are sometimes the greatest evidence of clutter, because everything showing in it is disorganized. And if you look in your purse, if you look in your handbag, if you look in your car, including the car trunk, if you look in your closet, if you look under your bed, and it's full of clutter, many times that is an indication of your life itself having a lot of things for which there is no utility, but you have not built a practice of releasing the things that no longer serve you. So yeah, you did buy the book, but 1 year passed and you don't touch it. And you look on it and you realize you're not going to read it this year. Donate it to somebody in a care, go give it to the library. Make them put it in there for somebody who want to read it. You have the clothes and you put them down and you plan to wear and you plan to wear and you plan to wear. 1 year passed and you don't wear it yet. All right, maybe you can donate it. If a year has passed and you haven't used it. In fact, my marker for clothes and shoes is 6 months. Unless I'm buying it early for an event that is 6 or 7 months away. Like I see something and I know I want to wear that in the Kwanzaa period, or I know I want to wear that on Valentine's Day, I know I want to wear that on my birthday, I'll buy it early and put it down. But anything else that I have bought and for 6 months, I don't put it into use yet. It's clutter. It's clutter. The little consumerism bug bite me. I'm a bite. I need it because at the time I buy it, I need it. I'm going to say, you know what? Jeff Bezos have it. Let me go on Amazon. I'm a buy it. I'm going to give Jeff Bezos my money and then you spend it now. I can't give up the product. I'm going to have the product and Jeff have my money and I can't get back my money from Jeff. So I'm going to go and hold on that product here. And I don't use it. So the money don't spend and I can't get it back. And now there's this thing that is taking up space in my house. And every time I look on it, sometimes it all frustrates me. Because I remember how much money we spent on it and I can't get back the money. I'm not really sure how I'm going to use it yet. After 6 months, give it away. And for some items, it's 3 months. If a whole quarter I don't touch it, I don't use it, release it. Free up the space. So practice the declutter, because it also gives you an emotional habit of releasing the people, releasing the thoughts, releasing the conversations, releasing the habits that do not serve you anymore. You're looking around your house and you're saying to yourself, I thought this was essential, but I'm releasing it. It's non-essential for me. Let me give it to somebody who could better serve. This doesn't serve me anymore. It reminds me of something that is unhealthy. Let me throw it away. It builds up an emotional practice for you to release people in the same way. And then that leads me to the other question. Did you give charitably? Sometimes it is the decluttering that leads to the charity giving. And other times it's because you carve out a space in your income to give back 10% to causes that you support, to people who you want to sponsor, to children in the community that might need a book, a shoes, a school uniform. And it's the act of giving that allows that gift to multiply and come back to you as a blessing. That part I don't debate. I see it every time. Every time. When I give, no matter how small I give, it is doubled and tripled and quadrupled and returned to me. So I don't worry too much when I have to donate something, when I have to give something from my pocket. Sometimes all blood me I give, like the raw life energy in my body. But just take that and just give to somebody. Just give it to them. I know I'm going to get back more life in the process. And I've just added some good energy to the balance sheet of the world. Did you design, moving into finances now, did you design a personal budget for the year? Did you monitor your spending habits for the year? Because it's one thing to design the budget, it's another thing to monitor the habits, like actually tracking what you're doing with your money. Now, on this point, I want to raise it. If you have the planner, there's actually a section in the planner that allows you to set a financial accountability statement. And that means determining where your money is going to go. So your money don't leave your pocket. We call it the financial growth formula. The money don't leave your pocket and you don't have a clue where the money gone. So it encourages you to develop a wise statement for the money. And it begins by saying this: money does not use me, I use money. I don't use it frivolously, but with intention, pointing it in the direction of my goals for financial well-being, because that's a goal we have, financial well-being. For this year, my 3 financial wellness goals are, and you write out the goals, you set a deadline, you indicate how you're going to celebrate reaching the milestone, and you also establish an accountability system to make sure you do what you say you're going to do. And I've shared in several spaces before, my financial accountability partner is my mother. So she is a big part of me being able to stick to the financial goals that I have. I don't leave it up to myself. So just a prompt here: if you're not liking what you're doing with your personal budget and the monitoring of your spending habits, it's an indication that you need to develop a wise statement for your money. You have to know what you plan to do with it, and you have to know what you have done with it. Money can't lead you and drag you all over the place. You have to be directing your money and pointing it where it needs to go. Next question now. Did you forgive somebody who wronged or betrayed you? So forgiveness is allowing somebody who owes you something to be released of the debt. That's all it is. They don't have to pay you back. You still see them as worthy. You still see them as lovable. Maybe you're deciding that you're not going to be the one to love them and you're not going to be the one to support them in the future. But what they have done to wrong you does not strike them off the list of saints, right? They don't deserve to be hurt in life. You don't hate them. You don't have them up. You don't wish bad for them. You can't stand to see them when they pass you. Those feelings, you're not going to carry them with you anymore. You're releasing them of the debt. So yes, they have not returned to you what they took. They've not tried to make amends, but you're not holding up that expectation that one day they will do it. And they are in the wrong until they do it. No, man. All is right with the world. I've accepted that this is what it is, and I'm not going to spend my life anticipating you correcting this thing, which is what unforgiveness is. Waiting on them to fix that thing that they did and to correct the error and to correct the issue and to come back in your good graces. No, forgive you. Whether you correct yourself or not, you are released of that debt. I'm not walking around feeling like you owe me something. Because guess what? My life is my responsibility. You can't have something when me needed in my life because I am the one that creates what I need. Yeah, you can't have that. You can't have that something over there so when me need. Like an apology. Me need your apology. No, sir. You don't have to apologize. Me will apologize to myself on your behalf. Because I need you to build and nourish my life and to free me up. Me responsible for my life. Me will free up myself. Me not stay in that chain there. Did you apologize when you were at fault? That's the next question. And I'll say here what an apology is supposed to look like. An apology is not, I'm sorry if I say something and it make you feel away. I never know say this is sensitive but or something. So I'm sorry say when I say hurt you. Why you can't take things literally? All right, sorry. That's not an apology. If you are somebody who apologizes when you are at fault, there's an anatomy for an apology. And I actually did a podcast episode on this one. If you want me to, I can share the link at the end of the session as part of the wrap-up email. But quick and dirty, it acknowledges the wrong that you have done. I, Krystal, did this thing. 2, acknowledging that it hurt. I, Krystal, did this thing and I realized that it caused you hurt, pain, sense of betrayal, anxiety, fear, whatever. I did it and I realized it had a big impact on you. I am sorry for what I did, not for you feeling away. I am sorry for what I did because I love you and I don't want to cause you pain. And I know that my action caused the pain and I'm sorry for it. And the final component is, and I will not do it again. And if you're able to make amends, to make up for that, I will. If it's a kind of error or mistake that creates a gap, then you want to close the gap and you say, all right, to correct and to make up for that, I am going to bam. So you can decide based on the nature of the error that you've made, if that 5th step is necessary, or if it's just for the person to say, I accept your apology. But whether or not they accept the apology, whether or not there's something you can do to close the gap. I did a thing. Thing I did hurt you. I am sorry for doing a thing that hurt you. And I will not do it again. So you have to develop that habit of apologizing. It keeps your ego in check. It reminds you that you are human. And it shows you that for people who you love, it matters how they feel when you've done what you've done. It tells you that you value your relationships. It tells you that you value your people. And even if they don't accept the apology, it speaks to your ethic, your principles, your values. So it's not so much about them. It's about the kind of person that you are. And that's a good emotional habit to develop because it strengthens relationships. And you're going to need those relationships, especially to get out of ground zero and to build better in 2023. And I'll say here too, that a big part of why I was able to rebuild from ground zero and having nothing is the quality of the relationships I had. I have an excellent relationship with my mother. Not because my mother is a perfect mother, but I know my mother loves me. Like there's never a time that I will question in my life whether my mother has my back. She have it. She have it. And anytime I think she don't have my back is my ego that don't want to be vulnerable and seem like I make a mistake and go to her and tell her about the mistake so she can show me that she have my back and can support me in the process. But once I give it some thought, I know my mother always have my back. Always. If a tree back she got have, fear back, my back, and my brother back. She have them 3 back there all the time, right? So my relationships with my family in general, like I have a really supportive family. They must stop everything when they do for show up for me. Like it's amazing. I'm a big old 32-year-old person. Do you understand? So I have that. And I've nourished that relationship, right? I stay in contact with my family. I send them good energy all the time. I show up for them. I honor their milestones. I make what is important to them feel and seem important also to me. So they know I love them, right? And I also know that they love me. And my friendships have good friendships. For the same reason, I show up for my friends. I honor my friends. I express to them in real terms, in words, in gift giving, in physical presence for whatever they are invested in and trying to do, showing up for them. So when it's time to show up for me, my friends and my family members don't think twice. And I'm grateful for that because sometimes they can do all of the good things, but the people in my do it for no good. So if you have a need to alter your relationships, we're going to do that a little later in the session. Assess and see who you weed out and pull out, because no matter how you pour into them, they're never pouring back into you. They're never available. They never have any grace to give you, no compassion, no care, no affection, no respect, no responsibility, no trust. Love also has to be present in those friendships. So it's the relationships that helped me because I forgive people. If they've done something wrong to me, I'm a big person. I'm an adult. I put on my big girl panties and I say, well, you had done this and said this and it didn't feel right. And I know that that's not what we are building in this friendship, in this relationship. Give them an opportunity to give it some context. Give them an opportunity to apologize if they see that they've done something wrong. And forgive. Forgive, release. I don't have a balance sheet of things that I'm marking down people for. And I apologize. When I've done something wrong, I go back to them and I say, I'm really sorry about, or something tells me that this never go over properly. What did it feel like when I said this? Did you think that did it sound like I was? And I allow them to say, yeah, man, it made me feel away, and I apologize. Or they can say, no, we never take it away, then don't worry yourself about it. And I can be at peace in that relationship too, because I realized that I did not cause offense, even though I thought that I might have. But I'm always auditing my relationships and asking myself, how am I showing up, aligned with the values I say I have, and honoring the people I say I do. So apologize. And where necessary, especially for the people you love, while they work on themselves, you can forgive them in the gap too. Don't mean you have to put yourself back on the line to be hurt, but you can release them of the debt that they owe in the meantime. Next question, did you avoid gossip and negative conversations this year? Last year? Did you read at least one book? Did you develop a new skill? In the book department, let me know if you'd want me to share. You can actually just send an email to the successfarmja@gmail.com book list, and I'll share with you the book list that I have for 2023. So if you don't know which books to read, you can check out my list as well as some other lists, but I'm happy to open that up to you. So you can just send me an email after the session. Avoided gossip and negative conversations. Read one book for the month throughout 2022. Did you develop a new skill in the last year? Did you kill a fear in the last year? Did you practice routinely to speak up for yourself and what you need? Did you end an unhealthy relationship? Did you mend a broken relationship? Remember, I told you about people, right? You're going to need people. So if there are people who you love and care about, and you know you should have a better relationship with them, in your heart you desire to have a better relationship with them, what grace and compassion-filled action did you take to mend the relationship? It takes two, but what did you do on your part? Did you add one more person to your professional or personal network? Needy people, either in the workspace or in your personal space. Did you quit a bad habit? Did you start a new and healthy habit in the last year? Did you get a mentor? These can be people who actually jump on a call with you, sit down with you for lunch, or they can be virtual mentors. Like Oprah can be a mentor. Subscribe to Super Soul Sundays on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Follow her. Join our book club. Listen to whatever Oprah Winfrey has on, because she have a whole heap of podcasts, right? Watch up her video on YouTube. She can be a mentor for you virtually. Michelle Obama can be a mentor for you virtually. Beyonce, Rihanna. Yeah, I mean, pick them. Like, who is out there doing what you want to be doing? You don't know them. They're not in your network, but they're online delivering their strategy and their how-to, and you can learn from them and be mentored. Next question is, did you get a mentee? Is there anybody in life, in your world, in your space, that you can help send the elevator down and bring them up a little bit? Like, even if you can't bring them to the top floor, can you move them up one level with just a little bit of advice, a little bit of mentorship? How are you looking around for people to serve? And if you look hard and you don't see anybody, fine. But look and instead, and here's how you know that you can mentor somebody. The people who you're judging. The people who at work, them just not perform at the level of everybody else. And you just judge them. Like Armageddon, you just judge them. Them lazy. Them hard for learning. Them take long for understand the little processing. Them ever latey. Why them always miss the targeting? Those people who you feel like, them just don't know what them do. Whenever you're looking at people in that lens, ask yourself, well, am I in a position to teach them at least one thing? Am I in a position to help them do better in that area? And offer it. Don't sit down and say, but they're not going to take them because I'm younger than them. They're not going to call me and them have a good relationship. No, because I'm a friend with somebody who them not like. Before you cancel out the opportunity and your ability to mentor them, ask them now, would you like me to help you learn how to use this software? You want us to work together on this project to see if we can, get it done quicker? You want my help to work out this strategy or to write up this plan? You want to show up at the start of your event to help you set up? Do you need some help? I'm here. I'm willing to help you. I've done this in several ways. I've been here for X amount of time. So I kind of know some shortcuts. And if you're okay, I'm willing to help you. So let me know. That's mentorship. Don't have to be my mentee that I work with for one whole year. Sometimes it can look like that. So you can go back to your old school and find somebody who you can mentor like that. But it don't always have to be like that. Did you reduce your screen time? Did you take a risk on an idea, even if it was not radically successful? Did you save or invest 10% of your income? And do you think you made an impact on your community? So that's the Thrive check, right? To see if over time we're doing the actions that actually matter. Taking care of ourselves physically and mentally, taking care of the people in our lives, taking care of our money, watching our habits, and looking for ways to serve people. That's the first thing you have to ask yourself. Before you say, I want a house, I want a car, I want a bigger job, I want more money. You want all of that, But what are you putting into the world? Because it's going to be multiplied. You want them things that come to you, But what are you putting in yourself? So you can create space for that wealth and that growth and that success and flourishing that you want. So Jan says, I'm the mentor. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. Chantal says, me and Terry. Thank you. She's a mentor for me too. And I'll tell you, when I entered Miss Jamaica World with my locks in 2016, it was because I had seen her do it. Like, I remember the lady who had the big afro and she didn't win the competition, right? I remember that very clearly. So she has been a mentor for me from a long time. So happy to be in the company of a mentor that I have. So let's add up our scores. And I've given you the added benefit of being able to multiply it by 2 because the total that you're going for is out of 60. So each thing that you're able to do is worth 2 points. So add up your score, multiply it by 2, and out of 60, tell me how much you got on your Thrive score. So I'm seeing some numbers here. 42, good job. Good job, Aisha. Proud of you. Now I'm also seeing some numbers that maybe not, they may not be feeling so inspirational. So I'm seeing a 14, a 24, a 34, a 28, a 10, a 0. But here's what it's telling us. 16, 12, 40. Good work, Sandria. 24, 50, 36, 54, 12, 24, 44, 12. I'm seeing the numbers. So those of us who were able to get over 30, good job. It means you're on the right track and you have room to level up a little bit more, level up a little bit more, level up a little bit more. But remember, not everybody is in that place. And I always like to talk to my ground zero people, those of us who are between 0 and 29, have a lot of ground to cover. What this exercise does is help you to see where you are not showing up in the ways that you can. Because none of those actions require other people to do something for it to get done. All of those actions are steps that you can take. And you have opportunity every single day to take those steps. Every single day. Now, if you're seeing the room for growth, if you're looking at that list and you're saying, boy, this is something I really wanted to prioritize. This is something I always say I'm going to do and I don't do. This is necessary for me to move from ground zero to where I want to go. Good. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do now. The action step. I need you to design a morning routine that allows you to knock off as many of those as possible. So we know that how you start your day impacts greatly the energy that you have for the rest of the day, one, but also whether or not you're able to focus on the essential things. So if you start your day by taking up your phone and scrolling online to see what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is saying, is a risk because it can make you feel anxious before the day starts, can make you feel like a failure before you even start work. You can't start doubting whether or not you're doing the right thing the right way before the day even start, because you just look at some people where it look like it's effortless for them, and for them life just turn up. It just, they're 10, 100 all the time. Things just go on for them. So I advise against starting the day with the phone in your hand. If the first thing you do when you get up in the morning is take up your phone and open a social media app, you have to ask yourself what you're trying to escape in your real life. One, and if you're not trying to escape anything, why are you wasting time looking at what other people are doing to start your day instead of looking at what you need to do? So you're either trying to escape something, knowing that your life needs your focus and you can't bother with that because that's hard work, so you just can't look for other people's life. What are you trying to escape? And two, why are you wasting time looking at them when you really should be investing time looking at yourself? So I'm recommending that you add these 6 elements to your morning routine. My mornings, I have a toddler, so I've had to switch it up since I first started, but I'll start with my pre-toddler stage. Before I had a child, my morning started between 4:30 and 5 a.m. I'd get up at 4:30, and between 4:30 and 5:30, I take an hour and I go to a little corner in my house. I open up my planner, I put on some music, I light a candle. Music like the meditation music, yeah? I like the sound. Light a candle so it's fragrant in the space, and I create a meditative space for my life. For that 1 hour, I just meds my life and the blessing. And I believe we can all find room in our day to just meds the life we have. Just be grateful for it. Just stand in it and feel it before we start feeling all the other anxieties for the day. So, as I said before I had a child, don't have an hour to do that anymore, because I'd have to probably wake up at 3 o'clock, right? I'm gonna need the sleep. So, if you don't have a child, I'm sharing this with you because maybe you can adapt it and see if it could work for you. So, between 4:30 and 5:30, I was doing a few things. My gratitude journal, I wrote in there what I was grateful for, and I had like a whole journal. So I was writing out and just describing the things that I was grateful for in the day before. I also had my prayer or affirmation or reflective meditation. I have a prayer for every year. So my planner from 2022, I actually had a space in there where I just created my annual prayer, right? Right here. So. But in this planner, I actually gave space for persons to write out their prayer. So you can look for that page right now and see if you're going to use that. I'll read out a portion of my prayer for the last year. And I should actually, my planner from 2021 also has a prayer in there. So depending on the season that I'm in, I have a prayer for that season. So reading out the first part of my 2022 prayer for you. My creator and source, thank you for honoring your word and your promise to me. I know I can trust you to do as you say. You have said that all things work together for my good. And in the year that looked like it would be the hardest, it was the best. You keep your promises. You see, I have to look at Nicola. I said every single day of 365 days, it's in my head. Where was I? You keep your promises. Today, I thank you for the breath in my body, the presence of mind and moment, the vision to create, the courage to take action, the love in my heart, in my home, and in my relationships. So that prayer is about gratitude for all that I have, but acknowledging, remember last year never nice, you know. I remember I'm telling you, 2020 was my 0 year. So 2021, me I put shoulder to the wheel, me I put mortar to pestle, me I put screw to screwdriver, like me I work it, right? So when I started 2022, I was just in awe of all the things that I had done in the last year. The year that felt like it would be my worst year, it turned out to be the best year. And I'm reminded that God don't make promise when He not plan for keep, or when she not plan for keep. The promise will be kept. I know say if me put in my part, I'm going to get the result. And so I woke up every morning and I prayed gratitude for the year that went. Because I know say God in it, God in me. And I will not forget that in the year that was the hardest year, I mash it up same way. So what a year you have for me? Because the hardest year could have mashed me up. That year you're not going to do it me, da. Right? If me did that ground zero, me could have built up something. That year I can't flap me. And so I woke up every morning and I said that prayer. So back to the routine, gratitude journaling, a prayer of affirmation and meditation. If you don't pray, no problem. You can find a way to affirm and to ask for the things that you want in 2023. Good gas out, So I send out either a love note, a message, an email, just amplifying goodness, recognizing good things that are happening to people in my circle. So that is how I nourish the relationships, right? Whose birthday is it? Whose anniversary is it? Who just graduated? Who may just see an update from online, say, them it's sick, but now them feel better. Them just get a promotion in a them job. Like people who I know, whether family members or close friends, I make time in the morning to send them a big up. Yo, I saw that your cousin graduated. I saw that your auntie this. I saw that your nephew that. I saw that you this. My sister, your husband or your wife that. Big up yourself, rooting for you. And I send out that good gas. So built into my morning routine is deliberate action to nourish and build my relationships. You can be flexible here. Maybe the relationship you want to nourish is not in your personal network, but it's in your professional network. You can use it to send out something to your newsletter. You can use it to send something to a co-worker, to your team members if you're leading a team. But send out the good energy, especially for those relationships you're trying to rebuild. I had a challenge in 2020 that asked for people to pick an action they would do every single day. And one of the persons who participated in it, they said every day they're going to talk with their mother. I can't remember if they had like a set time, like I said, for 1 hour or for 20 minutes, but they were going to take up their phone and call their mommy. And after doing that for, I think, 21 days, I think we had done it for 21 days, it changed the temperature of the relationship with that mommy, with that person and their mommy. So you can decide what is the good gas that you want to send out to the people that you love and care about. And then good gas in, what am I going to fuel myself with? So I give out the energy, but I'm also restoring the coffers, topping up myself too. So am I listening to a podcast? Am I reading a book, 10 pages or for 20 minutes or for 30 minutes and getting the good gas in? So you can be listening to something like listening to an audiobook, listening to a podcast, reading a book, reading some article that, you saw it and it's like, oh, I want to get a deeper understanding of this. I feel it would build me up in a particular way. And then the next session is around productivity planning. So setting some time in the morning to take a look at your day and get ahead of it. Like, is there one email I can send off? Is there some emails that I did not answer? I can just jump on that. Is there something I was supposed to prepare, to design, to draft? Just give yourself 20 minutes for some productivity planning. Look at your day. Where do you have the meetings? Prepare yourself mentally for those meetings. Prepare yourself for the actions you need to take. And just get yourself in the zone to be successful and to win at the day. Now, if you're a little more advanced, you can do your productivity planning from the night before. So we also have a resting ritual that allows you to set yourself up for success before you go to sleep. So do you need to take out the clothes that you want to exercise in? Do you need to set your alarms? Do you need to do the meal prep before you start the new day? What do you need to do in the night to prepare for the next day? But if you have not done that, you have a section in your morning for your rising ritual to do the productivity planning. Too many of us jump into the day using the email. Open your email and see what other people have planned for you. No, man, what you have planned for them. Open your calendar and see how you can itemize how you want to do your day. Which meeting you want to reschedule because it's just not working with the flow of the day and the things that you plan to do. Lay up your time. Decide how you want to use your time. And in the same way you have to tell money where to go, you also have to tell your time where it needs to go. So don't make people drag on and pull you. Email is the way that they do that, right? To tell you what they want you to do with your time. No, man. Decide first. And then the other component of that is workout and movement. So set aside 30 minutes or 1 hour to get some movement in. Now, what do you get to cover with that? The gratituding, the spiritual reflection and meditation, the reading, because maybe you want to read some more this year, the nourishing of your relationships, the productivity and the sense of ownership and control over your day. And even inside my productivity planning, one of the things I still do actually is to go through my purse and take out the receipts from the day before and log it into my tracker for how I'm spending. So there's also financial productivity that is built into that. I have an app on my phone. It's called Every Dollar. I think they need to make me an ambassador by now to hold me talk about Every Dollar. But Every Dollar is an app I'm able to use. I know some countries, they don't find it in their app store, but there are other financial tracking tools that you can download as an app. Every dollar when me spend, we put it in there. So I always know my money I go. And you see, because I know I have to go put it in something about I spend on. Because I now write that down. I know the budget I set for the month at 20,000 and that's something they alone at 20,000. I can't use all of my like miscellaneous money for the one something. No, I have to go find something else to do because I'm not putting that into Every Dollar. Mega shame. That's accountability that I've built in as well. And then I have to go meet with my mother monthly and tell her what I do. I can't, it never shame. I not have an explanation for it. I can't, me not doing it. And then, of course, you get to do your exercise. So you're able to cover a lot of ground from your Thrive checklist by setting up a morning routine. If you don't have it yet, set it up right now. Don't make the day drag and haul and pull you. Now, because I now have a toddler, I can't get up at 4:30 because it's just not possible. Me need the rest of the energy and the alertness to take on the day. And I know I can't come home 6 o'clock and say me I go sleep. I can't come home 7 o'clock and say me I go sleep because her bedtime is 7. So everything after 4:30 is just her getting her dinner ready, getting her stuff ready for the next day, doing the homework, getting her bedtime routine started, and getting her to bed. So after like 4:30, 5 o'clock, any little wrap up I need to do for the day, I can't do it until after she goes sleep. So it means that I'm spending between 7:30 and 9:30, sometimes up to 10:30 at night, just closing off the day properly. So when I go sleep, I want to sleep. I try to take 8 hours. Yeah. So the earliest I can get up is 5 o'clock or 5:30, which means that I have to be a little more efficient in how I'm handling my morning routine. And I have to lock in within an hour every single thing that needs to be done. Usually when I'm doing the workout and the movement, I count that 1 hour in the planning session. So it's 1 hour to do everything plus another hour to do the workout. So it's 2 hours I usually take. So 4:30 to 5:30 for the meds in my house, and then 5:30 to 6:30 to go do the workout. Then I come back home. Can't do that now. Let me not say can't do that now. I have to talk differently. I'm gonna find a way to do 1 hour worth of workout each morning, because that's also a goal I have, to physically get back in the gym. I love my strength training and my weightlifting. So I'm gonna find a way to get back my 2 hours, right? Now that I have to change on my talk. But I realize I've not been able to do that since motherhood. However, I'm gonna find a way to do that in 2023. Full stop. Period, right? Going back to my 2 hour routine. But if you don't have 2 hours, always remember you can get all of that done in 30 minutes. You just have to be clear and systematic about it in terms of your meditative practices, and then 30 minutes of exercise can also work for you. I can get a 2-mile run down in 30 minutes, which is what I've been doing. Or I use the WellFit community, which is Camilla McDonald's. WellFit is her brand. So she has a workout that's set every morning and every evening for 30 minutes. So that's how I've been really surviving in terms of physical wellness and not getting overweight. Of course, watching what I eat, getting a 30-minute run in. And on the days when I don't run, I do the 30 minutes at home with Camilla. So I get it done. I don't have excuses, but I want to do 1 hour this year. So work on a morning routine. I'm going to ask you to pause now, take out your phone, and set up that window, either 1 hour or 2 hours, where you're going to get up early and get these things done. So pausing, that might take you like 3 minutes. Take up your phone, open the calendar app, set up the time, put it on repeat for all the weekdays, and then put a note inside the appointment. If you're using Google Calendar or the iPhone calendar, you can put a little note or description in there and list out the things that you're going to do in that period. So literally, I can open mine right now and read out what I have in it. I call it morning magic. So prayer, devotional, gratitude journal, and note taking, 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Read 10 pages or more from the book of the week. I literally have like between 5 o'clock and 5:15, brush teeth and put on gym clothes. So this is from when I was going to the gym. So that 15 minutes is just me getting ready and going through the door. So it's really reflective of my pre-motherhood plans for the morning. Why isn't this opening up? The list is longer than this, but it's not open. But yeah, what I do though is put a time. So I say 5 o'clock to 5:15, I'm doing that. 5:20 to 5:30, I'm doing that. 5:30 to 6:30, I'm doing that. 6:30 to 6:45, I'm doing that. So if my window of time is 5:30 to 7 o'clock, I put in this 10 minutes is the journaling. In this 30 minutes, I'm reading. In this 15 minutes, I'm doing that. So when you open it in the mornings, you're not trying to remember, what am I supposed to do first? Am I supposed to make the coffee? Am I supposed to put on the gym clothes? You don't have to think about it. It's written down in there. So what are you doing from X time to Y time? Write it in. If you're on the night shift, that means you work through the night and then sleep in the day, or do you also have a day job? Because I know that, Sometimes that's what's happening. We're working through the day. So if you have a window of, well, first of all, you have to have a window of rest. Unless you are in a season of just burning the midnight oil. So when I was in school, there was no other way to do it. Where I spend the whole night, I prepare the assignments, I do the studying, I get ready for the test. And then another day we have to jump up and we have to go to work or we have to go to classes. So sometimes we're in a season where we just have to put pause on certain things and just focus. We know that for the next 3 months or so we have to go work it because there's a goal we have to achieve in 3 months or 6 weeks or so. We don't want that to be life unending. So if it's not a season you're in, and this is actually how life is set up, you have to pick the window that you're going to work from. 24 hours in the day. What are the 8 hours or 6 hours, right? 8 is ideal, but if you can't get 6 perfect, your 6 hours to rest and then 2 additional hours to get your life in perspective. Because again, nobody's going to go on a construction site and work it for you. So if you want to feel less anxious, how are you going to create a gratitude and meditative practice? You either want to feel less anxious or you don't. And if you're really serious about getting that outcome, you have to set time to do what is required. Full stop. You want to lose weight? Okay, what's the time you're going to set to prepare the healthier meal so you're not eating on the road? What's the time you're going to set to do your exercises? You're either serious about getting this result or you're not. And when you're serious, you're going to carve it out. So if it means scaling back on the casual time that you're spending with friends, if it means finding a more efficient way to move between work so that it don't take you as long, if it means finding a gym that is across the road from work, so as you come off work, you get that done for 30 minutes. If it means that you're going to run around your house or run around the parking lot at work for lunchtime, like find the way. Because there's always a way. If it means on your lunch break, that's when you're going to read the 10 pages. If it means that on the drive to work, you're going to listen to the podcast because you want to elevate the mind and learn a few things. If it means the time that you would spend on social media, before you open every social media app, you're going to send a note to a friend or a family member. Find the time. Find the time. It is always there. It's always there. Find the time. If it means that before you're going to shower, you're going to 50 sit-ups, like the time is there. You have that 10 minutes. Just do it. Just do it. But you have to decide. Have to decide. Cut off the excuses, kill it, and just decide on the work. And you can start with small goals. I'm reading the comment here from Shanna about her 9 to 5, her children, and just managing school and all of that. So you can start with smaller goals. So maybe you're not going to do the 1 hour in the gym, but you're going to do the 50 sit-ups before you take a shower. Every time you're making your child's breakfast, you're going to boil some oats for yourself because that's a healthier meal. Whenever your children are sitting down and eating, you're going to take 10 minutes and do a breathing practice. When they are in bed, you're going to take that 15 minutes and do something. Like you can just find those little blocks of time to just do something. 15 minutes, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here, 45 minutes here. Don't have to be the perfect 1 hour or 2 hour. In fact, your morning routine, you can break that up to the best parts of the day. So maybe you only have half hour in the morning when you wake up to take some time for yourself. All right, we use 30 minutes here. So, and then at lunchtime, I find another 30 minutes. Or in the nighttime, I find 15 minutes. And then I find another 15 minutes at lunch. But find a way to break it up so that you can get it done. Monique says she needs a serious intervention with these 2 kids. And I know Monique is also an entrepreneur, so she have family and she have business to run. So you can always share, like, what's the goal that you're trying to accomplish? Where do you think the best time slot is for you to do it when you look at all that you have to do? And then also think, how can I take a small step in this time slot? I may not be able to take the big, huge step that I want, but how do I take the small step in the time that I have? Always be willing to work with what you do have available and do the best that you can in that window. Daniel South is asking if there's an app, but I see the community members here responding. ClickUp is a good app to try. One app is called Structured. So there are some recommendations in the chat if you're looking to log it. And of course, if you do have a planner, you don't need any of those apps, unless you like to have apps on the phone. But I know some people like the digital stuff. So to like track my expenses, I wouldn't want to write that down somewhere. I like to put it in the app and calculate the pie chart and then something there, and it just do the subtraction and the summer. Yeah, we wouldn't want to write that in our book. But if you have the planner, there's an essential action tracker that's built in to help you log daily across the 4, and some months have like 4.5 weeks. But to log what you're doing. So let's say you have a goal here to read for 30 minutes a day, and you write that down. Read for 30 minutes a day. And each of these flowers have 7 petals. So every day in week 1 that you read, you color it. So that by the end of a day, by the end of a week, you're able to look at how you thrived. So this is an example of how it looked for me in last year's planner. I wrote down each of the goals that I had, and each day in the week that I did it, I was able to color. And then at the end, I assessed my score. So I have a percentage score in there. And then for the whole month, I was able to write down a score for my activities. So I was able to really track my performance and see how I was doing. And we do that for every single month. So if you have a planner, that tracking is built in. But of course, the apps that have been shared here are also worth checking out, especially if you like to do those things on your phone. All right, so the time has passed now for us to set up the morning routine. I hope you have that down. If you need 2 more minutes, tell me, but I need you to set the time. It's important that you leave this session with your time block set aside for you to be able to commit to your life and look at what needs to happen in your life. Other things are standard in your calendar. What time you need to be out the house, what time you need to be at work, what time you need to be at class, what time you need to do your pickups. Those things are part of your regular day. But find a window in there. That's the challenge in this moment. To make this, everything that I shared with you, to put it into practice, to apply it immediately, you have to carve out the time. Goals that you don't make time for can't be accomplished. So just remember that. Goals that you do not make time for cannot be accomplished. So whatever the goal is that you think you have, especially after doing that Thrive check, it can't be accomplished if you have not created a space in your calendar to get it done. Goals that we have not made time for cannot be accomplished. All right, so the other section here is around your relationship. So if you have the PDF document, we have sort of a quick and dirty guide to doing some assessment on how you have performed and the who's in your life. I'm going to allow you to take some time to fill that out because these require a lot of descriptive work. But the first thing I want you to do, if you were to describe your work ethic in the last year in 1 sentence, what would that sentence be? So in 2022, I may have the work ethic written down already for 2022. I was diligent, consistent, decisive, and timely. That was my work ethic. And I set it as an ambition for myself. And then every day I got up and I repeated that to myself. And it's like hearing it over and over again. When it's time for me to make a decision, I hear myself, I say, I am decisive. I am decisive. So if I sit down and I see that take me too long to take an action, like my brain just say, I am decisive. Because every morning I get up and I say to myself, I'm diligent, I'm consistent, I'm decisive, and I'm timely. So that is how I worked last year, with diligence, with consistency, making decisions when they had to be made, and doing things on time. And that's why we were able to have our planners ready for shipment on the shipping date that we sent. Because in 2021, we were late and our planners did not get to our customers until in the new year. I've only had 2 customers who pre-ordered and got their planners in the new year. And it's because they got to the country early. But the sorting at the local post office took more time. But the planner got there. For one of my customers, I literally know every single one. It's actually not 3, it's 2. My other customer, one of my Canadian customers, it got to them on the 22nd because we promised everybody would get theirs before Christmas. The 22nd, and the post office sent it back without even alerting the person that it was there for them to pick up, which is so strange, right? So yeah, but because me tell myself that me timely, because that's something I didn't want to be on time with for this year, I was able to accomplish that goal. So if you were to describe your work ethic in 1 year, what would that be? And if you can't come up with a work ethic, it probably is an indication that you weren't paying close enough attention to how you were working. But we have a process this year to help us pay attention. So next year, you're going to know how you were working. And you can also set an intention for how you want to work for 2023. So in that section, what we call the truth zone in your habit design guide, and inside the planner, it's actually a whole life audit, a full 6-page window for you to go through everything. We're going to jump to the life assessment section. It looks like this in the planner. So it's where we have your key life area, the grade you're gonna give yourself, and your next best step. So that's the next strategy session that we're gonna work on. So 1, we have rule now for the morning routine, what we're going to do to build in the good habits, making time for the goals we say we have so we can actually accomplish them. Check. The next thing I want you to do now is to assess in detail some of the areas of life that make us feel most anxious and most disappointed in ourselves. And then at the end, we're going to decide what we're going to do next, what we're going to do about it, because we're not going to be moping and telling the sad story. So as we move into this section, it's important for me to say a few things to you. You need a mindset for resilience and toughness. We're going to assess these areas, and I want you to be compassionate to yourself, but you have to go be mentally tough if you're going to achieve any of these goals. Mental toughness is your ability to face the challenge when it comes and move through it. When you're not mentally tough, the challenge look by you and you go, and you stop. Mental toughness is your ability to steer the tiger in the eye, steer the storm in the eye, and show your teeth too. Tell the storm, say, I am the storm. You think you're the storm, I'm the storm. It's the ability to look at the challenge and know, say, this can't overcome me, this can't overtake me. What is this? If it's even for chunk off a small piece at a small piece at small piece at until it disappears, this thing can't stop me. And there are ways to build mental toughness. So how you know that you are not mentally tough is the way you're telling your story. Be careful how you talk about how your life is. If you're telling the story and every time you tell the story you feel sad, every time you tell the story you feel hurt, every time you tell it you feel discouraged, it means you're telling your story wrong. Because even the things that challenged you and stalled and delayed you and you failed at them in the past, they all taught you something. So how you feel talk about the things that will teach you something, like you lose. When you win something out tight, you gain something from it, you learn something from it. There's a mistake where you can't repeat because now you have experience where you can turn into wisdom. So yes, I went through X or Y and I came out of it with clarity on this. Yes, I am going through this right now, but it is teaching me this. Yes, this person has done this thing that caused me harm and disappointed me, but it has shown me that. And I have learned this about myself. And I have learned this about how I form relationships, how I make financial investments, how I develop financial habits. So if I tell you a story. So when people ask me about 2020, it was ground zero. But thanks to ground zero, I'm now clearer on what self-love is, because I built a book list to help me feel empowered in my next season. And one of those books helped me to redefine love for myself and for any other relationship that I have in my life. Friendships, family, and intimate partner relationships. So from ground zero, I'm more equipped to love myself and to love others. From ground zero, I was able to do the kind of financial renovation and restoration that found me at a time in an emergency with no emergency fund. But now I have more than one emergency fund. I've been able to double, triple my income in these ways because of ground zero. And I learned what not to do because of ground zero. So when you hear me talk about ground zero, it's a winner story, I'm going to tell you, man, I think it's a loser story. It's a winner story, man. I've learned how to tell my story. When I tell my story, I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel hurt. I don't feel discouraged. I feel happy because I survive it. I'm going to go through it. I feel restored because I've committed to applying the lessons so I can grow. I feel encouraged because I watch myself go through something and thrive. So I know I can go through anything else and still thrive. Be careful how you're telling your story. People who don't have mental toughness tell their story in a way that lacks locus of control. Their hands are not on the wheel. Them tell the story like somebody else turn the car right and somebody else turn the car left and somebody press the gas when they did one and press brake and somebody drive the handbrake and the car spin out of control and go. Somebody else do it. People who have mental toughness are telling you a story from a position of control. You know, I put my hands on the wheel and I thought I was supposed to go right. And because I didn't look at my map, I ended up making a wrong turn. But as soon as I realized what was happening, I went back to the map and I got back on the right track. So yeah, I was a little detoured and delayed, and I shifted the direction, and I don't feel so proud of myself for not checking the map. But next time I know I must check my map. Them tell you, say, them a drive them car. Them tell you when them take them hands off of the wheel, because then they delegate responsibility for them life to somebody else, and then they expect somebody else to take care of them, and somebody else for this and somebody else for that. And then they recognize that they had given up control, and then put back them hands on the wheel. So even if you're talking about their hardships and their difficulties, them have mental toughness because of the locus of control. They might tell you, say, them have the control, or that they had given up control momentarily. People who are mentally tough demonstrate commitment. So them have a map, them work out the plan, them say them want to achieve this goal, them work out the steps, and they are determined to get there. Anytime you ask them how things are going, how the things go, them tell you about the plan with them have, them tell you about the strategy, and them tell you how them find determination, even if they are derailed and on a detour to get to the destination. You hear the commitment in them voice, not the can, but I know. You hear the commitment, and that's how you know they're mentally tough. They tell you that things have gone wrong, but the way they're telling that story, you're hearing that they're in control and they are aware of their power, and you're hearing their commitment. And that's how you know people have resilience. The other element of mental toughness is how people talk about their challenges, how they view the challenge. So a pothole come, and it's either your, Jesus Christ, I can't believe, and look how them tell me say the road clear, and look how this is fixed from when, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, or, there's a pothole there, I was completely unprepared for it. But next time I know I must always have a spare, because sometimes you can't see the pothole come, and the pothole they catch me, but it's because I was not prepared, why it took me so long to get out of the pothole. Yeah, man, the tire puncture upon me, and I never have a spare. So first thing I do now is to make sure I have a spare. In my case, the emergency fund. I talk about it a lot because God knows it stressed me out to not have it, right? Yeah, man, me dropping a detour, but this is what I'm doing now to get back on the track. While I'm on this detour, I'm learning this, I'm observing this. This is allowing me to build another skill. A challenge is them I go through, but when they talk about the I'm in some traffic, so I'm going to be a little late in arriving at this goal. But I'm going to be patient same way. I still have energy and I can still move. I'm going to try move one foot in front of the other right now. A challenge them at all, but you never know it's a challenge, because you're looking at it differently and they're demonstrating mental toughness. The challenge now derail them and deflate them and defeat them. Them getting at some mud, them stop them and over come out. And you're seeing them in the mud and the car now move. And you say, oh, you get stuck here, so you know what happened? I wasn't prepared with this. You know what happened? I took my eyes off the road. You know what happened? I never followed the map. But what I'm doing now is to grease the wheel. What I'm doing now is to ask somebody to come in and help me push from behind while I'm pressing the gas to come out. You know what I'm doing now? I'm wedging a little thing under there so that I can get a little angle to lift up myself out of the mud. Them have a flat tire. You know what I'm doing now? I'm heading to the pump. You know what I'm doing now? I don't have much gas, but I'm finding people who can energize me. I'm having a little engine trouble. I'm not a mechanic, but you know what I'm doing? I head into the mechanic. I call a mechanic. I asking somebody who's done this before how I can get this sorted out. Them talk with them challenges different on the road to them goals. And the last thing that people have, that all of us have to have if we are to be mentally tough, is confidence. You have to believe that what you want in life, want it too. You cannot talk about one rich, but it's the true where me come from. No. It don't really matter where you come from, but I tell a story that's different. I come from a place where I've learned to turn a little into a lot, and I learned to survive on 0 and 1 when I really needed 100. And so that's why now I'm working to get 50. I'm working to get 80. And when I get the 80, so I go and use it. And when I get the 80, so I go and invest it. Yeah, man, them confident and them believe, say, and that them I go get, and that them I work for, and them I go achieve it. They believe it. I can't tell you how many people I've invested in their business, purchased things from them, recommended them for other things, just because they just sound confident in what them I do. And I've never missed on an investment like that. Anybody who sound confident and sure about the work they're going to do in their lives, I'm investing in them, I support them, I recommend them, I build them up, I boost them up. I've never been disappointed. Because some people can pretend like they have confidence and trick you, But you see, when you see the real confidence, when you see the real mental toughness, they talk about their lives as though they have control. They're demonstrating commitment to getting to their goal, no matter the things that slow them down. Them talking about the challenges like it's a learning and growing experience, and them have confidence in themselves to overcome the things then. Bet on them people, because you're going to find a way through, and you must become the kind of person that we can bet on. So, sharing some mantras with you in this season to prepare you for the work that has to get done, right? To make you feel tough enough to do it. Because when we set the goal, me want you to feel big and bold and brawling with it. My circumstances do not control me. I control myself. Circumstances not gonna make me mad. Circumstances not gonna make me lose my head. Circumstances not gonna make me jump off of the goal and forget where me I go. My circumstances do not control me. I control myself. A second mantra I want to share with you. If life does not give me the circumstances I want, I will create those circumstances myself. If life does not give me the circumstances I want, I will create those circumstances myself. So when you see a pothole, you're in the ditch, the mud of the tire away, the engine needs some help, the gas in the tire. If life does not give me the circumstances I want, I will create those circumstances myself. And then you start looking at one thing you can do right now to create that circumstance. And you just keep doing one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And next mantra, I do not allow obstacles to create negativity. I assess, accept, and take the next best step. A lot of us are doing that. The obstacle create beer negativity in your spirit. Can't make obstacles control you, because remember, my circumstances don't control me. I control myself. I do not allow obstacles to create negativity. I assess where I am, what is going on here. I accept that this is what it is. And then I take the next best step. What can I do in this moment to change this thing and move it in the right direction? And then this last mantra is for the people who want to bring challenge and bring problem and bring bad vibes in their life. Release them, man. Me never not give nothing for say, for counter what them I say. Just wish them well. May you be happy. May you be well. May you live with ease. Because unhappy people want to make other people unhappy. So I'm not time to tell you to stop trying to make me unhappy, because you can't make my happiness. Likewise, you can't make no unhappiness for me. I control myself. What do you mean? Circumstances can't create negativity for me. So I see I try to make me unhappy. I see I try to frustrate. I see I try to make me doubt myself. I see I try to limit my self-confidence. I see I want to feel low. I see I want to feel like I'm not worthy. But I true you unhappy. You want to make me unhappy. So may you be happy. May you be well. And may you live with ease. Because when you're happy and when you live good and when your life have ease and peace, you can't find nothing in you to create unhappiness and dis-ease for other people. And I'm asking you to remember, if there's anybody in your life right now where stress you out, where deal with your way, where disrespect you, where undermine you, where violate you, and you can't cut them off. Because sometimes like a family, you can't cut them off. Or you're determined to cut them off. But in your heart, you kind of, feel a way so they might do them something to you. Just remember that people's unhappiness or happiness are your responsibility. So who they are, they will be. And we're going to assess, we're going to accept, and we're going to take the next best step. And wish that you are going to be happy on your journey. Wish that you will be well. Wish that you will live with ease. Because it's when they don't have that they want to create the negative vibrations in your life. But you don't have to give that to them. You don't have to give that to them. Cut them off if you need to. Wish them well on their journey, which is part of the forgiveness. If you have any mantras that you're using that you think would be helpful, you can drop them in the comments so other people can be blessed by it. And then we're going to jump into the life assessment and the strategy now to see where in life we need to set some robust and clear goals. 1 to 10, how would you rate your love life? And remember, I defined love. So it can be self-love, and it can be the love that you are sharing and exchanging with your intimate partner. How would you grade your love life now? So even if you're not a body now, you're not a man, you're not a woman, how are you loving yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you showing affection to yourself? How are you showing respect to yourself? How are you taking responsibility for yourself and your life? And how are you demonstrating that you can trust yourself? I.e., when I say I'm going to do something, I can trust myself to do what I say I'm going to do. I don't betray myself. I don't say that I have these values and then I allow myself to violate the values or other people to violate the values. I can trust myself to be who I say I am and do what I say I will do. So even if you don't have a partner, there's still a love life, a self-love life. Give yourself a grade. And then ask yourself, what can I add to my routine this month to improve this score. If you have the planner, we're asking you a couple of things. How have you won in this category? How do you think you have failed to show up in this area? And what is the next best step? So you can jump straight to the next best step, and of course take a little more time after our session to assess how you have won in this area and how you have failed. But for this session, we're going to jump straight to the next best step. And what you're thinking here is, what one thing can I add to my routine right now to improve this score? So let's say it is your self-love life and you're at a 7. What is the one thing, or you're at a 2 or at a 1? What is the one thing you could add to your routine this month to improve that? Maybe you want to add a self-care day at the end of each month. Maybe it is your morning routine where you're going to get up and read something that is nourishing and loving to yourself. Maybe what you're going to add to your routine are some self-love mantras to start the day. If you have a partner, maybe you're going to start sending them love notes in that morning section of Good Gas Out, that morning part of your routine. You're going to start sending some love notes to your partner. Maybe you want to develop an intimate relationship. Maybe this month, the one thing you're going to do is to go out into social spaces and allow yourself to meet somebody. Once a month, I'm going to go somewhere where I can mingle and meet people. What's the one thing you're going to add to your routine to improve that score? Next category, friends and family. How would you grade the performance there? How well would you say those relationships are? How rich do they feel? 1 to 10, write the score and write the one thing that you're going to do this month to improve that score. We do the same for finances. We're going to do the same for physical health and fitness. We're going to do the same for mental health. Sometimes the one action is to set a boundary with this person. Stop taking calls from this person. Stop responding to text messages from this person. Unfollow this person like it now work for your mental health, and you keep on and do it. Right? Stop going to these places with this person. What is the action? Many times around mental health, it's setting a better boundary. What are you going to do to add more passion and joy to your life? Can be to volunteer. Can be to participate in charitable causes. It can be to spend a little extra time helping somebody else to do something. It can be quality time with your children this month. You're going to add a mommy and me day. You're going to add a daddy and me day. What you're going to do to restore or to rev up the passion and the joy in your life. It could be nature walks. Like one of the things I've been prompted to do in the Wellfit community is just to take a nature walk, a green day. We just walk in spaces that are very green and lush. I just feel good. Listen to bird song. Personal development. What is the one thing you're going to do to improve there? Same thing for your sense of living on purpose and being fulfilled. What one thing can you do to feel more purposeful in life? Can be meditation. Can be forming a book club. Something that brings you more fulfillment. Starting a charity. Having a donation drive to support a school in your community. What is the one thing you can do? And we're adding it to the routine. So we're going to either do it every day, every week, every month. And you watch how your score transforms over the next year. And see if it's something that you can include in the morning routine. Since we already have a block of time for that, we're now looking at a very specific action that we can take to improve our score in that area. So I'm going to pause and I'll give 10 minutes for you to do that. Let me put on a little music. And I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Or you can put some music on your end. That might be better because I may not choose something that is energetic for everybody, right? So put something on. If you're not using your phone, you can just find a playlist on YouTube or something from off your Apple podcast. We're just going to pause and we're going to reflect. Give yourself a grade. And what is the specific thing that you're going to add to your routine to improve that grade? Because we're assessing to improve. All right, so I'll put 10 minutes on my clock. And as soon as the 10 minutes are up, I'll be back. Sorry, this is your moment. So set your music and take that time. Oh, for those who do not have the planner or the downloaded PDF, I'm going to type it in the chat what those areas are. Remember, it's out of 10. How would you grade yourself now? And what is the one thing you can add to your routine to improve that score? It can be daily that you do it, weekly, or monthly. All right, so just reading through some of the comments now. So Jenny said her, okay, so I'm seeing that you graded already your sense of living on purpose. Have you graded that section already? Are you saying that you're done? If you're done, we're just waiting for other people to complete it. So there's 4 more minutes to go for other persons to wrap up that section. But if it's a question about that area, Jenny, let me know, please. Thank you, Kay. Okay, got you, Kimiko, got you. Thank you. I'm seeing a bit of feedback here from Marique. I'm happy that you're loving the session and that it's honoring the investment of time that you have made this morning. All right, and I see that Janine's question was also answered. She's back on point and on track. Excellent. All right, so that is time. That is time. So I know we're supposed to wrap up at 12 o'clock. I'm going to ask you for 15 minutes more if you have it, because this is where we're going to get into specific goal setting now for the quarter. I want you to have a strategy heading into 2023 Q1. And that's the final part of our PDF download file that you have. And of course, if you have the planner, it's the Oak Strategy Planning section. So you can head straight there. It will be page 28. So this is what it looks like in the planner. But on the PDF, it looks a little different, but it has all the same elements. And if you don't have it, you can draw some lines on a piece of paper right now. So we're creating 1, 2, 3, 3 lines down. 1, 2, 3. Right, 3 lines down and 3 lines across. In fact, it can be 2 lines across, because that gives you the 3 columns. So there's 3 lines down and 2 lines across. All right. So in the top left box, which is here, this one, we're going to write goals. In fact, I can share screen because I also have the PDF opened. Let me see if this allows me to do that. Seeing that option here. Okay, I'm not seeing the share screen option, so I'm just gonna have to show you on the planner. So as I said, 3 lines down, 2 lines across. Top left box, you're gonna write, in fact, the 3 lines across. Top left box, you're gonna write goals. The second one, you're gonna write 4 to finish. And in the same goals section, you're also able to write the deadline for the goal. Or you can do 4 lines down so that you have a category for deadlines too. Optional. So goals, 4 to finish. Deadlines, if you created that deadline column. And accountability. So we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Just for safety, we have 4 columns going across. And then we want to have 3 rows underneath that. For goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3. All right. So 4 lines down and kind of 4 lines across. I'm trying to give you a little more flexibility with the table. 4 lines down, 4 lines across. Top left, or in the first rows at the top, goals, 4 to finish, deadline, accountability. So what we're going to do now is set the goals for January, February, March. Now you can make 1 goal per month, or you can commit to working on every single goal each month, but knowing that all 3 goals must be completed by March 31. How are we setting goals now? A goal is not supposed to sound like a chore. So we're not going to write in our goal section, work out 3 times a week. That's not a goal. That's a chore or the activity that gets you to the goal. The goal has to be the final outcome. So once you have achieved this outcome, you know you have achieved the goal. So that goal could sound like losing 20 pounds by March 31. So that's how you can include the deadline in the goal if you want to, or you put it over in the deadline column. Lose 30 pounds by, and you write the deadline in right now. In your 4 to finish, that is where you would write work out 3 times a week. Cut out 1 of these food groups each month. Rice, flour, although that's all the same food group, but 1 of these foods, rice, flour, bread, right? So, you know, January you're cutting out rice, February you're cutting out flour, March you're cutting out bread. And you're working out 3 times a week. And you're getting X amount of rest, or you're committing to drinking 1 to 3 liters of water per day. Those are your 4 steps to finish now. So what are the 4 things we're going to do to make sure we accomplish the goal? So just to repeat, goal, 4 to finish, deadline, and accountability. Now, I see a note here from Miss Smith about the planner. Absolutely, the planner goes in greater detail, right? Because we're not looking for nothing to surprise me throughout the quarter. So we have a section in the planner called ROTS, R-O-T-S, or R-O-T, pluralized, and it's risks or threats. So if you know there are some things that stop you or are likely to stop you from achieving this goal, please write that down. So maybe one of the risks could be, for me, my workout, one of the risks is Zia waking up early. Or when she wake up early, she want to work out with me and then slow me down for the 30 minutes I should take because I have to be giving her things to model the weights, and she want to depend on the mat when me I do the crunches, and it really slows me down. So to mitigate against that, one of the things I have to do is wake up half an hour earlier because I know she is awake by X time. So to mitigate, I have to set a time when I know it is unlikely that she's going to get up, right? Or one of the things I also do is put the tablet beside her on the bed. So as she wake up, she just take up the tablet. Like she don't even think to come downstairs. That's a risk or the threat. And the mitigation strategy, is about setting it at a time where she's unlikely to wake up, or putting something in the room to distract her and keep her occupied so she doesn't come downstairs. So in the plan, I would ask you to think about what risks are threatening you being consistent. Maybe it is, lethargy and getting tired of it and losing focus. And so a mitigation strategy is what you will do to guard against that. Now, the mitigation strategy is also for your accountability. So we put in a mitigation strategy that includes who will keep us accountable. So another mitigation strategy in the example of my financial goals would be a monthly financial meeting with my mother. That's the mitigation strategy to prevent the risk or the threat of me overspending or spending beyond what the budget allows me to spend, right? My risk is that I will overspend. My mitigation strategy is the accountability that I will have to show up and deliver on in the monthly meeting with my mother. So your mitigation strategy is what you will do to prevent the thing from happening, and that can be an action you take to reduce the likelihood that something happens, but it also includes the accountability metric that you're putting there to make sure that you stay on task. So to speak a little bit more about the accountability section, who is the person that is going to keep you accountable? Is there a group that you are going to join or form with like-minded individuals to make sure that you stay accountable? Are you going to put some blocks on your card so that you can't spend more than X or Y amount, or you can't withdraw a certain amount unless you go into the bank and join the line? Are you setting some automatic deductions? So as your pay comes in on the 25th or the 26th, on the same days when an automatic deduction happens, to send the money to your savings? Maybe the accountability is going to the bank and telling them that you want to create a fixed deposit account or an investment account, and you're obligated every month at the risk of a penalty to put some money inside that account. So that's the accountability. It can be people who keep you accountable, and individual. It can be groups. So one of the things I do each week, I have a weekly accountability call with my girlfriends who are like-minded and focusing on the same kinds of goals. We sit down at the start of each year. In fact, we're having our strategy meeting next week, Wednesday and Thursday. We chat enough, and we need 2 days for work out the strategy that we have for our businesses, right? So we're going to meet for 2 days, and then we commit to taking certain actions weekly. And then we have a weekly call to be accountable. Did you take those actions each week? And if you never take it, why you never take it? Did you do your best? And that's a big question. Was this the best that you could do? And if it was not the best that you could do, you be honest about it. I was distracted. I was lazy. I was unfocused. And if it was the best and you don't get the result, we share some suggestions and some strategies for other people from our perspective to support the other person. So that's a big accountability metric for me, especially around business and professional goals. I lay out the 4 or 5 things I'm committed to doing every single week. And when we get on the call, I have to be accountable and say what I did. And if I didn't do it, why not? I may choose people who flighty and uncommitted and scatterbrained. They're serious about the goals that they have. They can hear through the bullshit of the other person. So when somebody said they never did this because it was hard, we're like, okay, what is hard? Describe what made it hard. So I can actually be kept accountable. People who can call me out because they know me operate below my potential. So I've created that accountability group. And as you know, my mom is from a financial accountability. And then some of us can have systems that encourage accountability as well. As I mentioned, using the bank, for example, if you need that help with your finances. For Life Learner says, I was my biggest threat. Now I'm saying yes to my goals. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the last thing I want us to do before we wrap our session, is to specifically identify 3 goals, big goals. Remember, it's not the chores to get to the goal, it's a big goal. Do you have a product that you want to launch by a particular time? Do you have an earning or sales target that you want to hit by a particular time? Do you want to set up certain accounts, investment related accounts by a certain time? Like big goals. You want to buy a house. You want to get your pre-qualification letter. What is the thing, the big goal that you want to achieve? 3 of them for this quarter. What you can do to help you drill that down, look back at the section we just completed that asked you to identify precisely where you're adding something to your routine to improve the outcome. And that can help to guide you around the outcome that you want. Right? So you look at it and you say, in terms of your physical health and well-being, one thing that you're going to do every single day is to run 2 miles. You see that? Oh, okay, I want to run 2 miles. What do I want to achieve when I say I'm running the 2 miles? Oh, I want to lose weight. How much weight I want to lose? 40 pounds. Okay, maybe I can say I'm going to lose 20 in the first quarter. And you write that down as a big goal. And already you would have had one of the steps written down in that routine that we want to build out in the morning. But think big. Like allow the goal to pull you, to push you out of the comfort zone. It can't feel easy. So it can be a chore, work out 3 times a day. That's not the goal. That's a step to get to the goal. So the goal is an outcome. What it will look like when you've achieved the goal. What will your body look like? What will your account look like? What will your relationships look and feel like? What will your business look like? What will your mental health be like? Think about it and just pick 3 big ones. If you're not sure which 3 to start with, again, look back at the section we just completed and start with those that have the lowest grade. Do those in the lowest section in terms of your grade. Feel like those you want to prioritize to start the year. Maybe, maybe not. Because some seasons we're not focusing on some things, right? So while the grade is low, it's not that I'm going to focus on for this season. I really want to focus on this thing. But look to see if those are the lowest grade. Could be an indication of where you want to start. And you set a goal, a big, audacious, scary goal in that area. Pick 3. But look at that list and see in those areas how you've been performing, what you want to do to improve it. You can also look back at your Thrive checklist to see what there was prompting you towards a goal that you would like to achieve. So, for example, you weren't able to kill a fear this year. Was the fear related to launching a business? Was the fear related to expanding your business through investment? Was the fear related to going back to school? What's the goal? And you write that down. So it's 3 goals. Gonna give you an additional 10 to do it, but if you're finished in 10, you can let me know. But I really want you to think about how big we're gonna go on these goals this year. Remember, goal mustn't feel like a chore, it must be aspirational. Goal must be challenging to push you outside of your comfort zone. And the goal must be yours, based on the skill set you have, based on the passions you have, based on what will bring you great fulfillment. That is what you set a goal around. So I know at my ground zero exactly what my goals were. Creating a financial safety net for myself and my daughter, and creating a financial umbrella. That was like priority. Everything that I did in the first half of the year was around that, and I was able to knock off 90% of the debt I had. Did I mention having like $5 million in debt with no income and no job? Yeah. Knocked off 90% of that by the end of 2021 and closed out the last 10% at the start of 2022. So that was a big priority for me in 2021, the finances. Everything I did just kind of wrapped myself into completely accomplishing that goal and seeing that through. My physical health and well-being as well as my mental health was also important. And so I had some physical goals around how I wanted to lose weight. So in 2021, I switched from a diet that allowed me to eat like whatever I wanted, except pork. I never really eat pork. I never eat pork from 2016 or 15. I had been eating pork. But everything else, I gave myself permission to eat. But in 2021, I decided that I wanted to go vegan. I wasn't 100% vegan because sometimes I did have my little pasta with my milk in there. And a few times I was having like some boiled eggs with something, or maybe like a fried egg. But the milk and the egg and the cheese really got the better of me for the year. But in terms of what I was eating, the proteins I was eating, I got significantly more of my beans and my peas and fruits, vegetables, and seafood. I kept seafood in the diet. So I started with the intention of being vegan. I ended up being pescatarian. But that diet shift saw me lose. I didn't even stand up on the scale to see how much pounds I lost. But I have a before and after picture. I've shared it online before. There was a dress that I sat down in, and like my whole body was just like falling up. And this wasn't specifically related to the ground zero because I had put that weight on from in the middle of 2020. And I said, no, man. And I saw me want to look. And I set a physical goal. And it included running 2 miles at least 2 times a week. It included physical activity, strength training, some kind of exercise 3 times a week. And even though I didn't have 100% streak with doing that all the time, I was so consistent that I lost the weight. I changed how I was eating, started drinking more water, less alcohol and less pasta and something that to put on the weight, did my physical activity, and I saw the transformation. So my physical, mental, financial were a priority for 2021. And we got it done. So you know what 3 things you want to give the best effort or your best effort to start the year. Select that. Write out the goal, write out the deadline. What are your 4 steps to finishing it? And how will you stay accountable? Who is going to help you? What you're going to do to make sure you stay accountable. So when I was going vegan, I put it out there on my social media. I'm going vegan, guys. So anyway, I'm going to go order chicken. Although I didn't try to order chicken, but like shrimp. When I start order the shrimp and the fish, then people are like, I never know see you eat meat. I think it fully vegan. All right, give me the bean stew. I told my mother was like, she see me order like red lobster shrimp, and she said, "I saw vegan thing though." All right, we take the salad with the beans or the Beyond Meat something. Yeah. So it kept me accountable. So who will keep you accountable? And you can use your online community and use your family. Put it at the family WhatsApp group. Guys, this year I'm doing bam, 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 bam. If you see me I do anything opposite, you call me out and tell me, say, remember what me did say. Tell them and give them permission to keep you accountable. All right. So I think, are we all done? If there's anybody who needs a little more time, maybe 2-3 minutes to wrap it up, let me know. Just drop something here so I know. And if you have your 3 goals, you can just write in what the goals are. Just declare it. Just put it out there. If you're not confident or not comfortable sharing, precisely what you're gonna work on, you can tell me the category. A financial goal, a love life goal, a BAM goal. Those are my 3 goals. For this first quarter, I'm working on BAM, BAM, and BAM. For this first quarter, my key life areas are BAM, BAM, BAM. Just drop it in and share with me what you're going to work on. Hi, Moya. Seeing the question about what, yes, we will have this replay available to use as soon as it is up. I'm going to share it with you for you to rewatch. So don't worry if you're kind of in and out. I see the notes here that you have work. So what are the 3 key life areas that you're working on in the first quarter? In this first quarter, I'm prioritizing 1, 2, 3. Just drop it in, even if you don't want to tell me the specific goal that you have. Starting the baking business and toning muscle. Yes, 876 girl. My family won't believe me if I tell them I'm vegan again. Well, maybe you don't go vegan, maybe you go pescatarian. That was like my little compromise on my journey. Financial, schooling, personal development. Nice. Candice, 15 pounds by March 31. Thick 2023. All right, girl, go for it. Starting my real business, getting my finances under control and losing 50 pounds. Launching group coaching, losing 12 pounds, improving financial position by a specific amount. Yes, yes, yes. Physical and mental health, job change, business launch. 3.0 GPA in college, health, working on current relationship. Wellness in terms of nutrition and fitness, ACCA exam, and talking to my parents. Go on. Financial, self-care, and relationships. I wrote more than 3. But education, financial, and love life. All right. I want to do everything that's possible. And I know that feeling of wanting to fix everything one time, but we have to be responsible about the goal setting. If we're irresponsible with the goal setting, recognizing the time that we have available, the focus that we can give to it, and the level of commitment required to really move it along, if we're honest about that, we know we can't work on everything one time. However, you know what helps you to get a big jump start? It's that morning routine. So everything gets a little bit of focus at the start of every single day. So over time, it's going to improve. But you know, you have 3 where you really are focused on. So if it's finances, every day you get up and you make a call around debt consolidation. You make a call around how you can expand the assets that are available in your business. You make a call around how you can build out investors, you can get more sales. You make some posts online so you can attract new customers, get people registered, get people buying what you have. If you know that finances is your focus for this year, you can just channel your mind and your energy around just handling those things in 1 month or in 3 months. So every little thing gets some focus if you're using that morning routine setup, but you know that in the quality, the meaty parts of your day, you're really prioritizing this thing and that thing so you don't feel overwhelmed. Because we also want to be consistent. That's important. We also want to be consistent. All right. I am loving these goals that I am seeing. And I want to remind you to set up the 4 steps to finish, the deadline, and the accountability. How will you stay accountable? So I can use Aisha's goal as an example. So you say you're going to start your group coaching program this year and you have a date that you want to start it. One of the things you can do is to start advertising it now and tell people to pre-register. So now you have people expecting you to start it on February 1. Like I can't make people them sign up for the pre-registration and you don't have it February 1. Like that kind of creates some pressure. Or you put out a graphic and you say, starting X time, I'm going to have this countdown graphic 10 days until, 15 days until, 20 days until. So you know that people are watching you now. I have to start it. Tamika, let me share with you the link for the planner here. And then I'll also drop it in the recap email that I'll send in case there's anybody else who wants to grab a copy of it. So I put the link here. Anybody who wants to purchase the planner, the link is right here. I'm also going to share the link in our wrap-up email for the PDF document that kind of helps you to organize the goals that you have and complete the life assessment. If you are using like a journal or a piece of paper today and you want to use the framework that we've set up, I'll share that link as well. But as you know, the planner has everything in there, including the daily, the monthly, the quarterly accountability that's required to get things done. Hey, I'm seeing some big numbers, 300K in income. Yes. All student loans paid in full. Yes. Yo, I know what that goal means, you know. I had student loan twice. I had student loan for my first degree and then I had loans for my master's. So I know that. I know what it feels to pay that off. I mean, tell you, one of the things I did to keep myself accountable, I told myself I would not purchase any kind of asset that's considered luxury. But not adding not the kind of asset or trying to add any kind of asset until I paid off SLB. I took student loan, which is the government agency, and it's a revolving loan fund. So if you put back the money, somebody else now can get the money for next year. So if the revolving loan fund have $1 million and me have 300,000 out of it, then can only give out 700,000. Until I put back my 300,000, there's a student who can't access it. I'm gonna say, you come tell the people them say I got borrow the loan, I'm gonna pay it back in a certain time. I can't get up and talk about me go buy a car, and there's a student who could benefit from the loan that I took out. I'm gonna take it, put down payment on car. Instead of make the monthly payments, the student loan, I'm gonna make monthly payment on car. That never felt right to me, like ethically. I knew the position I was in and desperately needing the money to go to school, and I have a duty to put that back in the pot so somebody else can get it. So before I bought the car, I told myself I have to pay off student loan, non-negotiable. I might tell you the minute we get the pink slip in a March, best believe me, I look for the car now. We're ready. I pay back my debt to society. So I know what that feels like, and you can actually do the linking of a larger goal to that particular goal, so that it creates urgency. Every time I have to take up taxi and call, telephone and call a taxi man like, yo, as I pay off student loan, I go buy the car, as I pay off the student loan. So it created urgency around the goal. So that can also be accountability. Giving yourself a cherry. Like as soon as I do this, I can pick this cherry and eat it. Sure, Shanto, you definitely can. Aisha says, this planner literally really helped me last year. I'm telling you, get this planner if you haven't done so yet. Thank you, Aisha. Whenever I see the feedback from the planner, may I tell you, it warms my heart because I believe in it because it's what I did. It's my own plan and strategy that I put in it, and I watch it work for myself every single day. And I decided to just put it together so other people could benefit from it. I moved from ground zero today. Thank you, Petrona. Thank you, Petrina. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maya. I am so grateful for the feedback. So the last thing I'm going to ask you to do before you jump out is to just give me some feedback on this session, right? Question I have for you, 2 questions. Do you feel clearer on the goals that you're going to pursue for 2023, at least in the first quarter? Do you feel clearer? Let me put it in as a poll. All right, so I just dropped the poll. Tell me if you're able to see it. And I'm also going to allow, I think because I have a poll running, I can't do a second one because there's another question I want to ask. But I'm going to start a Q&A. So if you have a question before we jump off, and you don't mind, sharing it openly, please put the question here, and I'll do my absolute best to answer in as useful a way as I can for you. I'm hoping that you're seeing. I'm seeing the feedback. Guys, keep sharing with me, please. And if there's anything more that you want to do with me for 2023, you can drop some suggestions as well. But I'm seeing your feedback on the value of the session, and I am so grateful for you for showing up with presence and with focus and really committing to reviewing your life and planning for it. Next best steps, what we're going to do. And I'm asking you to apply this as a strategy, right? Anything that is happening to you, whether it is really good, really bad, or lukewarm, assess it. What is happening here? What is going on here? Just assess it. What is really happening? And then accept it. Don't fight it, don't cuss it, don't cuss other people. Just accept that this is what is happening here. This is my reality. And then take control of it by determining what is the next best step I can take to move this in a positive direction. I know what is happening. I'm not going to deny that it's happening and pretend it's not happening and blame other people for it to happen, because that doesn't give me power and that doesn't help me to resolve the issue. This is the thing I'm going to do next. It can be a small next best step. It can be a medium-sized next best step, and it can be a large next best step. But you're only going to focus on what you can actually do right now to move this in a positive direction. Either to move your energy in a positive direction or to move the situation and the outcome in a positive direction. Assess, accept, next best step. That is the resilience strategy. That's the mental toughness strategy. That is how you are able to hold that locus of control, to stay committed to getting to your destination, to look at the challenge and not allow it to scare you and water down your commitment to your goal, and to remain confident that you can do it. Assess it, accept it, next best step. Stay focused. Don't make nothing else draw away your attention. The complaining, the woe is me, the criticism, the people pleasing. No. Assess, accept, next best step. And that's how we're going through every challenge, every problem, every situation, every win. Assess, accept, next best step. So I'm not seeing any questions. I don't know if they came in and I just don't want to find them, but I'm not seeing it. I'm actually seeing some questions in the chat. So I'm seeing Miss Smith here around imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome is sometimes linked to larger mental health issues, like not believing that you belong. Essentially, it's linked to the need we have to belong, feeling like I am worth this opportunity, I'm worth this outcome, and I am worth this result. The way you talk to yourself mentally helps to prime you for either the confidence you need to take advantage of your opportunities or the imposter syndrome that tells you that you don't deserve it. It comes from a position of undeservedness, that question of feeling like an imposter. So when you feel like an imposter in a particular situation, let's say you have a job offer or there's an opportunity for you to apply for a job or there's an opportunity for you to take an action and you start to, kind of quail up and feel scared and doubt yourself. Ask yourself, why don't I think I am worthy of this? And just start writing down what is coming to you. Because my mother used to tell me, because everybody around me don't have it. Because I believe that I still should be punished for this thing that I did. Because I don't think I'm smart enough. Because I don't have the degree. Because I don't come from the right background. Just write down. Why do I think I'm unworthy of this? Like in the moment. God, I feel so anxious. I need to go over there and introduce myself to somebody. But what if they don't know me? I want to say hi, but what if? And just everything is telling you, no. Sit down in a corner. Go over there. That's not for you. Ask yourself, why do I think I'm unworthy of this? And when you write down those or whatever pops in your mind, because maybe you're not in a position to write, but something pops in your mind. Well, people like me don't get, and people like them don't talk to people like me. Is that true? Is that true? Sometimes it's true, come from that background, but sometimes it's not. And it's in challenging that belief that it could be true when it is actually a lie that empowers you to take the action. Because sometimes you're sitting there and you're saying, well, if I get up and I say this to this person, they'll look at me and find me strange, and I don't think that they will understand me. I think they will ignore me. They might say yes, that they want to help me with something, but they don't really want to help me. They might take advantage of me. They might think I'm stupid. Sometimes that's a thought you're having. But is it true? No, it's not true. So if we accept that what we're thinking about ourselves is not true, it empowers us to then stand in the truth. What is the truth? And we can go back to those affirmations that we had earlier. My circumstances do not control me, I control me. So yeah, I came from that, but that can't control me, I control me. If life doesn't give me the circumstances I want, I will create those circumstances myself. I do not allow obstacles to create negativity. I assess, accept, and take the next best step. So if you're looking at the situation and you're telling yourself certain lies about it, that's one of the ways to move beyond it. But sometimes imposter syndrome comes up in different ways. It don't look like you thinking you're unworthy. What it looks like is you saying that things need to be perfect before you start. So if it has any bit of imperfection in there, you can't start because it don't look right. It don't look like how everybody else thing look, and everybody else thing look pristine. So you can't come in and your thing don't look so. That's imposter syndrome. You call it perfectionism. You call it having standards. Or you tell yourself, I'm a perfectionist. What you really are battling with is imposter syndrome, and you're using perfectionism as the excuse, because sometimes we can have imposter syndrome, but the culture tells us that it's a standard that you have for yourself. but it's not really that, it's perfectionism. So you have to ask yourself, where did I learn that in order to be perfect, in order to start, it has to be perfect? Is that true? Sometimes I lie. Who do I know that has started imperfectly? Go follow them, go read up them story, go find a little YouTube video on them, listen to a podcast and talk yourself out of that. Because sometimes it's a big step we need to take, and we're telling ourselves we have to start perfect. But more importantly, where we have to begin is with our ego. Your ego sometimes is threatened by the fact that you could start something and it be criticized. And that is fragility. There's nothing in life that is perfect. And so, because your ego is fragile, it tells you that in order to start, it has to be perfect, which means your ego is telling you do nothing. And if you do nothing, nobody can criticize you. And if you can't get criticized, it means that you are strong and powerful. And it's actually weakness. You can't manage the criticism, and so you don't try. You can't manage the rejection, and so you don't try. Your ego can't manage that. So what do you have to tell your ego? People's opinions about me are not definitions about me. It's an opinion. People's opinions about me are not definitions about me. It's an opinion. And everybody got to have an opinion about everything. In fact, by law, them have a right to have an opinion on everything. So do you want to rob people of their right so that you can feel more comfortable to do what you need to do? And that's how the world works. You can't take away the right to people to have an opinion. So people's opinion about me is not a definition about me. They have a right to their opinion, and I have to get comfortable with people having an opinion. I can't allow people's opinions, even if those are opinions about my work, about myself, can't allow that opinion to break me. But I need to have a good definition of myself. And so the call to action here when you suffer from imposter syndrome is to define yourself powerfully. Define yourself outside of that fragile ego that needs people to be complimenting you for you to feel confident. That fragile ego that breaks if somebody looks at you and says they don't like the shoes you have on, them don't like the shirt, them don't like you, them want to see you fail. If your ego is that fragile that it breaks and you can't move until you get that affirmation and that positive feedback, you need a better definition of yourself. Again, we have that laid out inside the planner. There's actually a page for you to define yourself properly. And we'll walk you through what makes up a high quality definition of yourself. What are the values that you want to bring to your work? What are the adjectives that you want to define the most successful version of you? What are the traits that you have to adopt? You build that into your definition. What are the things, the bad habits and the mental blocks that usually prevent you from being more disciplined and brave and consistent? You write that into your self-definition. What do you want to be remembered for? You write that in your self-definition. So you see, when, going back to my own definition for 2022, you see when imposter syndrome comes and you have a proper definition of yourself, the poor opinion that your self-critic might have, the poor opinion that others might have of you, it can't stand up because you have a better definition and you can respond to the thought in your brain with a better thought. And sometimes I just that, we have a better thought. The one thought in our head and it's sit down in there all our life and we don't think to replace it with a better thought. And when it comes to imposter syndrome, many times it's just a question of how you're defining yourself. So one of my definitions, I'm daring, dynamic, and deliberate. I'm diligent, consistent, decisive, and timely in pursuit of my goals. I do not allow imposter syndrome, fear, or disorganization to distract me from a life of excellence. That is part of my self-definition. And I get up every morning and I say it to myself. So when I feel the fear and I feel imposter syndrome, I remember I do not allow imposter syndrome, fear, or disorganization to distract me from a life of excellence. When I feel things, out of place and not properly organized, I remind myself, I don't allow this organization to distract me from a life of excellence. That is not who I am. And I can't be doing things that are not aligned with my definition and my vision of and for myself. So we use those things sometimes to chart a better course. And that's the redefinition of who you are, what you have a right to, and what you are entitled to. Now, if you're trying to assess too if you're experiencing imposter syndrome, but it sounds like perfectionism, there's another thing that you can consider. If you don't want to have to learn anything, that's also a way that imposter syndrome shows up. You don't want to learn. You want to know everything. So if you ever go in a space where somebody has to teach you something, you have a learning curve, you have to take you a little while to develop the skill. You don't want to go. You don't feel like you can go. I don't think I would do well there. Imposter syndrome, that you don't feel like you can be in a space and learn and still be good. So if you not teach people, you're not going in there. If you don't know everything already, you're not start. And that is a little different from perfectionism, because perfectionism means that everything has to be in place and has to be perfect. But the other way that imposter syndrome can show up is when you feel like if you have to be taught, if you have to be learning, if it don't come naturally to you, you're not going to do it. It's have to natural. It have to easy. And that means you don't want to learn. You don't want to grow. That is imposter syndrome showing up as well. If you have to go in there and grow, you can't do it. And it's the ego again talking to you. You don't want to be humbled by other people teaching you something. You don't want to be humbled by mistakes on the way to learning something. So you have to ask yourself as well, the thing that you're resisting doing, but it feels passionate. It feels like it can align with your purpose. It feels like it can, add some dynamism, some income to your life. But it's not easy. It's not natural. You can't go in there and be the boss head. You have to probably sit down and learn it. Is that something that is holding you back? I experienced that when I was entering politics. Like I almost did not do it because I don't know what I do. I don't know what I do. Like, what is a voters list? Like, what is a voters guide? What's a PD? I don't know that, and I almost didn't do it, knowing that a big part of my ability to feel purposeful and fulfilled in life is serving. And there's no broader mass way to serve than through a political institution, because that allows you to serve nationally. So how I must say I want to serve, and I want to learn how to serve people. I want to help people organize at the grassroots. I want to help people to make the best of their resources. And here's an opportunity for me to do that. I'm becoming a chef when I go in, I automatically win my don't. Becoming a chef when I go in, I spend too much time, I learn my don't do it. That was fear, and that fear was showing up as imposter syndrome, telling me that I'm not perfect enough, or I did not know all the things in order to go in there and just lead it and be the boss. And I had to talk myself back from that position. That there are some spaces you're going to go in and you're going to learn. If everywhere you go, you know everything, you're not going to go very far. Some spaces have to challenge you. Some spaces have to teach you some things you never know before. And if you're not willing to be teachable in life, you're not willing to win. If you are not willing to be teachable in life, you are not willing to win. If you didn't know how to do everything, you wouldn't want to win. You'd have done with the winner already. So the fact that you want to win in a particular area, it means that you have to be teachable so you can learn how to win. So it's important for you to distill how that imposter syndrome is showing up and talk back to the ego, because it's almost always the ego that is telling you that you can't do it or enough to do. I think I had done a video on a few of the ways that imposter syndrome shows up. It may be on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm looking at my YouTube content list to see if it's there, but I really can't remember. If it's not done already, it means it was recorded and not edited. So I'm going to prioritize that one about imposter syndrome, because I remember doing the reading and the research around it, because some of the things that are still clear in my mind, like one of the other ways that we want to we deal with imposter syndrome or experience it is because it's when we want to do it all by ourselves. And if you can't be the hero in the story, if you can't be the one who did it all on your own, you don't want to try. So that's also part of the learning. You don't want anybody teaching you, you don't want anybody help you, you don't want anybody work with you and put hands together. It has to be on your own. If you didn't do it on your own, if it's not self-made, it's not worth doing. And so we don't say it. And again, what your ego is telling you is that you don't deserve help from other people. It's not that you don't need it, like we all know that we need help, but your ego is telling you that you don't deserve help from other people. People are coming to betray you. People are coming to take from you. If anybody helps you to build it, they have a stake in it and then can take it from you. And you won't be able to claim it as all your own. So I'm going to look to see if I had actually done that video. But I remember the show notes around it and recording. Okay, I'm seeing some feedback here. This ain't church, but I feel like shouting. I see you, Moya. I see you, Moya. Seeing a comment here from Monique as well. If I'm being honest, I think I started my business out of imposter syndrome, not feeling as if I was qualified for the job offers I had and wanting to do my own thing. Probably the reason why I'm growing. Why, as I'm growing, I'm losing interest in the business. That's like an aha moment, Monique. That's like an aha moment. Because sometimes that's what we do. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. That could really be an aha moment for you spiritually. And maybe that's why you went to do your own thing, because somewhere else you'd have had to be taught. You'd have had to be trained. You'd have had to be upskilled. And you tell yourself, no, my space that. I like do my own thing. But is it that you like doing your own thing? or you just didn't want anybody showing you how to do a thing that was new? That's a big question. I'm committing to delivering on that for the YouTube page, so that question can be answered. All right, thank you guys. I have 98 votes on the poll. So if there's anybody else who hasn't voted yet, I'm going to close it off in like 2 minutes. And again, looking if there's any other question that I may have missed. I think I can answer one more. And I hope that response has been helpful too for the person who asked about imposter syndrome. Genevois, I hope I pronounced your name well. Yes, please send me an email. Kimiko says she's having some trouble getting the payment through. I'm going to check on the back end because sometimes it tells me what's happening. Like the code for the card is wrong, the CCV or the CVV is wrong. So I'm going to look on the back end and see if it tells me what the issue is with the payment. Donna Campbell has a business question. So I'm not a business coach. I would not venture into giving business advice. So I can't tackle this one. It's how do I get new market for my business? A great business coach that I could recommend though, on Instagram, I've not worked with her before, but I've known people who work with her. Women CEO Project. Yannick Page, who's a Jamaican entrepreneur. She's also a business coach, but I'm not sure how her model works, like if she has cohorts that she takes on. So recommending those two persons. Yes, Petrina also reminding me that the planner is on sale. So everybody who participates in the masterclass, you have access to a special code to get 23% off your planner. I had shared it in the emails with you. I'm going to share it again here. The discount code is Masterclass23. Is Masterclass 20 or Masterclass 2023? Masterclass 23. Guys, help me. I sent it in the email already. I know I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it's Masterclass 23. I'm gonna peep again. Yes, I'm right. It's Masterclass 23, all lowercase. Thank you guys so very much for the questions, for the engagement. I'm gonna look to see if I have any more. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Seeing a question here from Jahari. So I'm not at this point in January taking on any mentees, but shoot me an email and let me know what you think you might need help with. And if I can give some guidance there, I definitely will. And if I know somebody who is actually able to help better than I can, no qualms about making a recommendation. You know, I love that perspective for life learners. She says she's getting the planner because the cost is small compared to the cost of not planning. And if you look at the time that you have in your life, like how do you have 1,440 hours in the day and you don't have a plan for it? It's non-refundable time. You cannot get it back. It's non-renewable. Like you can not use it and then, you know, throw it on top of the 24 hours that you have tomorrow. It's not transferable in that way. So it's not refundable, you can't get it back. It's not renewable, you can't regenerate, and it's not transferable. You can't put it onto the 24 hours that's to come, which means you have to use it as life, energy, and opportunity. And that's what this planner helps you to do, to make sure that you're organizing yourself for impact and for success so you can feel proud of your life. Ultimately, that's what I want for everybody who has joined me in this session, for you to feel proud of the life that you're living. You absolutely can do that. You can change your mind even about the challenges you're in and start to feel proud even while you're still at ground zero and working to build yourself up. It don't have to be perfect for you to feel proud of it. It just has to be purposeful. You have to have the presence of mind and the peace of mind no matter what you're going through to be able to feel good about the life you have. And then also be committed to be disciplined to get the results that you want. Oh, Jan, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. Grateful to everybody who has responded. Grateful to everybody who has responded. So taking a note of the feedback there. And also, I'm going to be going back through the comments again to see if there's additional feedback or questions that I can respond to after we've wrapped up our session. Thank you guys so much. I'm wishing for you great success this year. I'm trusting and believing in you to do the work, to deliver on the outcomes and the intention that you have, and to stay focused, to assess, accept, and next best step it through anything. Choose to apply the mind of a champion. Always keep control of that wheel. Always stay committed to getting to your destination and your goal. Always look at the challenge as something that you can learn from and grow through. It does not have to overpower and kill you. And always believe in yourself to get the job done. Always believe in yourself to get the job done. Lots of love and blessings to you. I said 2 hours and we reached 3 hours. I'm going to wrap up. I know people have plans for their days. So I wanted to say thank you again. Grateful to have been on with you today. I'm moving into a 21-day challenge in mid-January. So I'm going to give you some time to settle into the goals. Yeah, we're going to do that. But look out for an email from me inviting you to participate in our first 21-day challenge of the year. I usually call my 21-day challenges a Phoenix challenge because it's meant to transform you. So I'm going to give you a week to settle into the goals and get things started. And then we'll begin our challenge on the 23rd of January. So from the 23rd of January through to the 6th of February, we're going to have a 21-day challenge. So you can look out for more information on that. But you have 1 week to settle in on your goals. The challenge, again, the tools are built into the planner to support you on the challenge. So if you don't have the planner, of course, when you register, we'll give you a worksheet that you can use for the 21 days. But look out for us to give you a prompt there. Settle in on the goals and let's start January with clarity of mind. I hope I said the right date a while ago. 1 week for the goals. I'm sorry, so we're starting on the 13th of January for the 21 days. Guys, forgive me, my eyes are a little dazzled right now. We're going to start on the 16th of January for the 21-day challenge, and it will go through to the 6th of February, right? I'll send you the email. My brain is going, but it starts on the 16th, and it's for 21 days. I'll send you the notes inside or email, and you can drop a comment if you're not on the mailing list or you haven't received any emails from us. Drop your email in the comments, and I'll look through again at the end and make sure that you're invited. Yeah, so look up. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's get started quickly as we can, with as much clarity and commitment as we can. And of course, I want to get into the habit of honoring that morning routine, of delivering on those actions daily, of keeping yourself accountable and building in accountability from others in your community so you can actually get things done. You can do it. Like me, I have the dots in my head. You can do it. So make we do it. All right? Deal. Like you can actually hold your hand up to the screen and shake my hand. It's been a pleasure sharing with you this morning, guys. Lots of love. Lots of blessings. And I'm rooting for you always and in